yeah, we got the 6-year guys like Vittmeyer and Bianco. I'm like, bro, I'm a normal senior. he goes, are you really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I swear. And he goes, no.
I don't even know this one.
Do you know Hideki had a huge porn collection? He just made that up. No, he's Google it. Google it.
What did y'all give him this morning? He is off the racks over here.
He asked me specifically for Vyvanse this morning. Didn't give it to him. I was confused.
Oh, look out. Mikey is hit, and down he goes. And he is not happy at all. That is the second time that Mikie Mahtook has been hit in this game. But this
Never forget it, bro. I had a 7 or 7:30 exam in the morning, so I'll walk outside.
Real life.
And I walked I'm like walking in my car, and I'm like, damn, I could have sworn I parked over here. I'm like, what? Nah, maybe it's not here. I'm gonna go look around over here, bro. I walked like 3 parking spots, like in the direction I thought I probably parked. I'm like, fuck that. I know I'm parked right here.
Kids still doing that and out there playing for hours instead of just chilling on the video games. Is awesome to see.
Chilling on the video games. Did you just age 55,000 years?
Well, we call them Fortnite nerds.
Yeah.
You know,
chilling on the
Fortnite
video
nerds.
games.
I mean, chilling, like playing video games.
That's the way to say it, yes?
You think an old man would say chilling on the video game?
That's what you just said, yes.
You think an old man would say chilling?
On the video game?
On the video games?
Yeah.
Well, oh well.
You're an old man.
If you want,
Well,
I'm not a gamer.
You're getting older.
I mean, I guess
Mikey.
Hello. Good evening. I was gonna go yo. I don't know if yo's because yo doesn't sound good. We'll work on
I
it.
think you have a thing here with the good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, December 7th, and the sports world is a little bit just not down, but not a lot happening. NFL is dominating the conversation. Mik'd Up's brought to you by Sterling Automotive. NFL always dominates the conversation. Obviously, down here, college football dominates a lot of the conversation. LSU got cooked last weekend. We talked about that on Monday. Transfer portal is cooking. Cooking, right? Like, I'm talking about, like, fire's hot. People are going in there, which everybody anticipated this happening. Everybody knew this was going to happen. Our friend, Jack Bech, entered the portal. Very tough decision on his part. Something that I'm sure he was extremely torn about, not wanting to do it, but understanding that, at the end of the day, he has to do what's best for his career. And if he thinks that's moving on, that's moving on. He's doing that. We're going through the Heineken headlines right now. Like I said, the sports world is a little bit in like a lull type of period. There's really not much going on.
Not a lot of games, but a lot of information.
A lot of information.
Out.
MLB free agency is live and well. It's amazing what free agency looks like in the MLB whenever they're not going through a lockout or preparing to go through a lockout, because last 3 years, you hadn't seen any of these free agents, any of these big free agents sign until very close to spring training. They're going to all be signed before Christmas, it seems like. So I'm glad to see that. I know the players are happy to see that. That was part of the discussions in the CBA. They're moving forward with it.
We weren't a huge part of it, but it reminds you of back when we first got in the Pro Bowl. Like, that's pretty much how it was.
Yeah.
Those free agents, the big guys were pretty much gone by the first of the year.
Which, listen, it helps a lot of the guys that were in the positions that we were in.
Yeah.
Minor league free agents, having the opportunity to go to spring training, try to win games, win a roster spot at camp. All these big guys are signed. They kind of understand what their roster is going to be like in the big leagues minus a few spots. Now you get the opportunity to sign these young guys. Over the last 3 years, that wasn't the case, and it made made things a little more difficult.
For a lot of players.
For a lot of players, and if that didn't happen, maybe Mik'd Up's not a thing. Maybe if we don't have this last 3 years, I'm still playing baseball and Mik'd Up's not a thing, which I would love to. I love our show. I would not want to go back and get rid of the show. Maybe we could do both. That'd be great to have both, right?
Yeah, look at all the other athletes doing both.
Exactly.
It's everywhere.
It'd be fun.
Mark Ingram's too concerned with his podcast than he is about staying in bounds.
Well, I think he hurt a knee. He hurt his knee, right?
Podcasting?
Saints stink, right? That's a thing. Like, Saints were still, believe it or not, we're still in it. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs. I don't want to badmouth the Saints, but They're a very hard product to watch. They are not fun to watch. They are boring on offense. Their defense is very good. There's a championship defense, right? They have extremely
Defense is being wasted.
They have extremely talented players on offense. And listen, Andy Dalton hadn't played terrible. I mean,
it ain't cohesive. Well,
Sean Payton meant a lot more to this team than I think a lot of people anticipated, right? So they stink. I'm not blaming that just on Mark Ingram. Yeah, that would have been nice to get that extra yard so we can run the clock out in the game. But, we had opportunities after that to get first downs. We used 35 seconds in the second drive before they got the ball back, before the 2-minute warning to score again. So, it was a team effort, team loss. The team effort and the loss. But
could have happened to a better guy on the other end.
Tom? I mean, you knew it was happening.
That's what I'm saying. You could have picked a worse quarterback to do that against. Like,
but you play, that happens against the Falcons, Marcus Mariota. You're probably going to be all right? Like, you have Tom Brady. You knew, as bad as Tom was playing, damn.
They got that ball back. It was 16-10, and they still had 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning.
Yeah. It's over.
No shot at winning this
It's
game.
over.
They're going to win
no
this
shot.
Game. There's no way they're not winning this
shot.
game.
Grant Taylor, sophomore pitcher for the LSU Fighting Tigers. It's going to be in studio at 6:30. He just got named the 15th best college draft prospect in the upcoming draft. He is a sophomore, but he is a draft-eligible sophomore. If you don't know what that means that once you go to college from high school, you have to play for 3 years. You have to be in college for 3 years or turn 21 by a certain day, which I think is like August or something. I don't know what it is
I was
now.
on the other side of that spectrum, so I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, you're opposite of that.
Yeah,
you're too young.
Way opposite.
But he is a draft-eligible sophomore. He only had 2 starts last year. Had a really, 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 really good summer in the Cape.
Yeah.
Made a lot of headway. Made a lot of noise. Was throwing absolute
noise.
And then comes in the spring. Comes in the fall. Continues that plus more. Puts out an extremely good showing against UL in one of the exhibition games and the scrimmages, and now people are flocking, right? So
buy the stock now,
right? He's the guy. We have all these transfers that came in.
Get it before it goes public.
And we talked about this last year.
Instead of trading,
did we not talk about this over the summer when everybody was coming in? I said we may have the best guy on the team already in Grant Taylor because of what you saw. He has what modern day pitchers has, and we're what modern day pitching coaches like to see. A lot of ride, over the top, hard heater, pitches up, big breaker, good change of speed. So we're going to get into that when he gets in here. I'm excited. He was pumped about coming on the show. I'm pumped that he's in here. LSU still has a football game to play. They get to play the Citrus
Bowl, the Fighting Boilermakers
in Orlando. We don't play well in Orlando.
No, I mean we've won one and lost one, right?
I feel like this one's gonna be a little different tone though.
I do too.
Last time we played, guess who was on the other end?
I can't tell you the last time we've been in the Citrus Bowl.
Who?
Brian Kelly.
Oh, it was Notre Dame. They beat us.
Yeah.
I think this is
in the rain.
Sloppy game. That's right.
Very,
it always seems like it's sloppy, doesn't it?
Nasty.
Yeah.
Very important game for the program.
I agree. Way
with that. Way more important than it has been recently.
We'll get into that, but I agree. You don't want to go into the offseason with 3 straight losses and a 9-5 season.
Yeah.
Right? Especially after the year that everybody agrees that it was a great year.
Yeah.
For what you had going in with the expectations, it was a great year. Even with the loss to A&M, even with the loss in the SEC Championship, you went 9-3 in the regular season, you're 9-4. You finish the season 10-4, you look back and like, okay, like that's not bad. You finish 9-5, you're like, damn, how? One, they're gonna be like, damn, they finished 9. How'd they get 14 games in there? How'd they get 5 losses with 14 games? Like if you didn't watch the season, going back and looking at it, then you're like, well, they went 9-3 in the regular season. Should have gone 10-2. SEC Championship lost. And you go in the offseason with 3 straight losses. It's not good, especially against a team that you really should beat.
Oh yeah, they're
with an interim coach.
Yeah, and that's what I say. The last time you played it, I think you're going up against BK, and now you have. Is it Jeff Brom or Brian Brom? Jeff Brom?
Not sure.
Jeff Brom. The guy that was in the XFL, that's a lunatic.
Yeah, Jeff Brom.
That's the guy that... Have you ever seen that video?
It's the same family?
I think it's his son. Who's going to be the interim head coach, if I'm not mistaken.
Brian Brom, the quarterback that played at Louisville? Isn't that the same guy?
It's Jeff Brom.
I know, but Brian Brom, wasn't that Brian Brom the quarterback that played at Louisville?
Yeah, and Jeff Brom is the quarterback who played in the XFL. Do you remember this video clip? I can't show it, or I could pull it up probably.
Don't show it.
But he was like, Brom, after you took a big hit in the XFL, and that's when they were doing on-field interviews, but they were mic'd up for like the crowd, like it went through the PA system, which was a great idea by the XFL.
Yeah.
And the guy,
XFL had a bunch of good ideas.
They did. They had Skycam.
Yeah.
And the kickoff was electric.
Yeah.
Or the coin toss, I should say.
When you had to go, when
everybody would just get
mosh pit for
hurt.
the
Yeah.
ball.
But he was on the field. They're doing this interview, and the whole crowd could hear him. And he was like, "Bro, how are you on the field after taking?" He like took a massive hit the week before. He goes, "I'll answer that by saying two things." He goes, "One, is this or is this not the XFL? It is. Two, am I standing right here and do I have a pulse? Yes. Let's play some football." And it went like mega viral from the XFL. Yeah.
Football guy.
Big football
Big
guy.
football guy.
Going back to Louisville.
I never saw this one. That's
Going back to
check
Louisville.
that out a different day.
Good for him. But LSU plays Purdue, who was in the Big Ten championship game with 4 losses, right?
Yeah.
Now they have 5 losses. They were
They got
7-4 or 8-4. Now they're 8-5. Whatever they are.
7-5.
7-5. So we play them. I don't know much about them. Obviously, we have a lot.
Yeah,
They
Brian
were
Brom's the
8-4.
interim.
They were 8-4, right? They had to be 12 games, Big Ten.
That's what I thought. 8-4. So
8-5.
8-5.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of time to talk about the matchup and get ready for it and hype it up. So we're not really going to do that. We're going to focus more on the transfer portal today. And we're going to go down. I think Grant Taylor just texted me saying he's going to be a little early, which is good.
Perfect.
We'll take a little break when he gets here. We had a nice little team meeting before the show. Talked about some things on how to improve the show and how to put some more money into the show so that we can grow the show.
Put a little lipstick on this pig.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we do well. There's a lot of things that we don't do so well. We like to get better at it. So, thank you for supporting us. We're trying to do this for you. Not for us, it's for you. This is all for you.
Yeah.
We're all givers. We're givers here. We like to give to you.
You first, then me.
Exactly.
Good rule to live by.
Exactly. What's your feelings on the transfer portal right now? We've had LSU's got a few guys in the portal. I would assume that they have a few guys they are talking to in the portal that they want to come here. What are y'all's feelings on who's entered, who hasn't entered? Jay Ward obviously announced that he is going into the NFL draft. Good for him. Congratulations on a great career, and thanks for coming back last year last offseason for this year, so that leader on the defense, played well, had some moments. Good luck in the future. But the portal, what are your feelings on that? On the guys who have entered, who haven't entered? Portal in general.
I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to kind of see how this thing shakes out with a little bit of time. I'm imagining that the staff here is trying to, for lack of a better term, just kind of top off or sprinkle this roster with some very important guys in the portal, which we'll see if they actually land them or if they don't. But I wouldn't expect them to be like at the top of portal guys, the top of the list of portal guys this year.
I know you said Shea Dixon said that they plan on signing 8 to 10 guys out of the portal, or 8 to 12 guys out of the portal,
8 to 12,
right?
That was with the attrition that was expected. Some not expected, but LSU loses 2 guys into the portal so far. You mentioned Jay Ward, that's in the draft, so that's still something you have to take care of. But if I'd have told you before the year that Kayshon Boutte was coming back for his senior year and Jack Bech would be hitting the transfer portal, what kind of odds could you have given me on that? Like, it seems like
before the year,
yeah,
pretty low.
Not likely. Right?
Not likely.
Not something that you
would
probably
not be
even
plus
thought
money.
about, right?
No.
That
would be an upset, and that's where we are with this thing, because it feels like if you see the reaction from LSU fans, certainly he was a fan favorite. Is he here?
Yeah.
The doors are open.
Okay.
Tell him to walk on up. But if you gauge the fan reaction from what happened when Jack Bech announced, he clearly was one of the favorite players on the team. He's from here, obviously from Lafayette, right down the road. Like, it hurts no matter where you slice it because you can see the talent. It just felt like he got passed up a little bit because whether it be injury or
he had some injuries this year.
the room's full, coach. A lot of players.
No doubt. And I spoke with Jack a little bit yesterday after that happened, and he said that it was an extremely difficult decision. He didn't want to make the decision. He didn't want to leave. He loves it here. He loves playing for LSU.
Yeah.
It's been his dream.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and he's not saying this is me saying it, at the end of the day, he has to do what's best for him, right?
Yeah.
And if he felt like his opportunity, or he wasn't getting the opportunities, or he feels like he just needs a fresh start, go ahead and do that, right? Like make that decision. Go ahead, move on. From what I've been hearing is There's not going to be a shortage of schools that are wanting one.
I was about to say, like, I don't think it's an indictment on either of the places, but I do have a feeling wherever he's going to go next, he's probably going to have some success there. That's just the feeling I got, though.
Well, and so the schools that I've been, you can sit right there if you want.
Pop one down.
The schools that I'm hearing are like, I mean, the who's who, right? Georgia, TCU. I think TCU is the favorite.
Jack or
not?
McConkey?
This is, huh?
Jack or McConkey?
I think McConkey's a little. I think McConkey's a little different player. Duh.
He's the combo of McConkey and Bowers put together.
Oh yeah,
you get both.
Why'd you get those guys? Why can't he be Darnell Washington?
Reminds me a little bit of reminds me a little bit of maybe a little Edelman sprinkled in, maybe a little Gronk.
Why can't he? He doesn't remind you of Kayshawn at all, or no?
Just
those guys.
No, it doesn't really resonate with me.
This is me.
Kind of reminds me of Jared Mitchell a little bit.
Yeah, that's a lie.
There you go. But what I'm saying right now is not because he told me. This is just what I've been hearing on the street. I think TCU is the favorite. I don't know if he's going to go there or not.
Now, how you know that?
That's a rumor mill, Coach.
Lafayette's a big city.
Lafayette's a big small city.
Big small city.
You know what I mean? So.
If you can get away with anything in that town, you're very lucky.
I think that would be a great spot for him, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think that he would thrive there in the offense that they run there and the team that they run there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's tough that he's gone. We're going to get back to this conversation.
Is he leaving with hate in his heart?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because then that would make you pick an SEC school so you can shove it up.
No hate. I mean, based on the text messages he was sending me, no hate.
No hate.
No hate. All love.
Maybe that's where your sources are coming from. So TCU might be getting a good one.
He didn't tell me. I just said that on air. He did not tell me that.
Look at you trying to out him.
I mean,
Look
Jesus.
You.
He did not, I didn't even ask him the question because I'm being respectful of his decision. I didn't even ask him where he's going.
You're a journalist. You can't
even ask him why he's leaving. I was just saying, hey, man, I'll always be a fan of yours. I'm pulling for you.
Praying for you.
Nope,
you think he comes back for St. Patrick's Day?
Probably not.
I would
imagine not. Okay, let's take a break.
I'm going to chill for St. Patrick's Day.
You're not going to have round two?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll be there.
We know you don't know.
Grant Taylor's in the studio. Grant won't be at St. Patrick's Day. Grant's be pitching on St. Patrick's. Well, not on St. Patrick's. Hopefully you're pitching on the Friday night, not the Sunday. But no, St. Patrick's is on Saturday.
It's on Tuesday, Coach.
No, they don't. They celebrated on
the weekend before.
The weekend before, right?
I think so.
Ask Jared. He's the one it's his favorite holiday, apparently.
All right.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
We're gonna take a 30-second break.
I've never been there.
We're gonna introduce Grant Taylor. We're gonna give everybody a break, get him situated, and then we're gonna come back. You're watching Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Hey y'all, it's Mikey from Mik'd Up. I want to talk a little bit about my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette. They're locally owned and operated for over 25 years. They have 13 locations, 4 in Opelousas, 5 in Lafayette, 1 in Broussard, 2 in Jennings, 1 in Crowley. They sell any type of car you could possibly find: Buicks, GMC, Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia, along with 5 pre-owned locations. They have over 1,500 cars in inventory on site. Unbelievable service, unbelievable people. If you're like me and you're on the go, they can sell and they can ship you cars up to 200 miles. Unbelievably convenient. Again, my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette, go to their website at saveatsterling.com. Awesome people, go check them out. Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become the life of the party. You're welcome. Our What's for Lunch segment is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Maybe the best burger in town. If you're not looking for lunch, you're looking for dinner, go check out Doe's Eat Place. They have unbelievable choice of meats. They have unbelievable tamales. They have a great atmosphere, great vibes. If you're looking for a homey Louisiana type of atmosphere, but you're looking for high quality food, Doe's Eat Place is your spot. Go in the back bar, sit at the bar, have a couple drinks, watch some games, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the vibes. Check out Doe's Eat Place, the best place in Baton Rouge to get your meats. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We went through a little bit of the Heineken headlines. We're going to get to the more details of the headlines that I just mentioned. More importantly, and the most important reason we have the show today, because of our guest who is in studio, draft eligible sophomore, old as dirt as a sophomore, Grant Taylor. Thanks for coming in, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
We talked a little bit off
Get up on
air.
that microphone, dog. Don't be,
Oh yeah, slide that thing up. There's no
talk to me like that.
Back in tilt right there. There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, help him out, Jared. Help him out. Help him out. Help him out. Help him out.
Too strong?
We probably should have done this before the show. Now pull the stick out. You know what I mean?
Y'all see how? There you go.
No. Yeah, you do it. Produce. You produce.
There we go.
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all do it all the time. Y'all
There
got
we
it
go.
now.
You just said no, but I was doing it.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
We talked a little bit off air, about the team, about the guys, about what you expect. But what I want to talk about is you, right? So last year you came in as a freshman. You had some innings on the mound. You threw well, and then you go into the summer, and I feel like something happened, right? Like something must have clicked. I don't know if you changed something, but you dominated in the Cape. You come back in the fall. You continue that dominance, and then you get rated as a 15th rated high school or college draft prospect, right? What went into that? What changed, if anything changed? And, how much are you looking forward to actually getting on the field and doing it?
Yeah, I think for the Cape, just to start off, I think that was because I threw really well at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Threw all the way up until Bama. I was throwing really well. And then something on the mound was just off. It felt uncomfortable. It was y'all play one thing in your swing and it's just you can't figure it out. Yeah. And so me and Coach Johnson at the end of the year had our exit meeting. He was see, you could be really good, but you don't make the adjustments near as fast. I want you to you're making adjustments game to game instead of at bat to at bat. So going to the Cape, it was just kind of what do I want to get out of this? And my only goal in the entire Cape was make adjustments as quick as possible. And then it kind of as I got there, towards the end, it was I wanted to attack early, get
right.
deep,
once you figure out something, you move on to the next goal, right? Yeah, for sure.
But I think it was just kind of a mindset adjustment. Just attack hitters, make adjustments as quick as possible, and then in the fall, I think I've made the even bigger, even more of a jump because Wes Johnson's
I was about to ask about
he's
Wes.
insane.
Is he awesome?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's the most knowledgeable person in any room I've ever been in with.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane.
So tell us about it then. So you that's moving on to a new voice. Wes is the new guy there. How has that transition been for you and for the entire pitching staff of just having a new guy there and kind of getting to learn him and him getting to learn y'all as well?
Yeah, it's been huge for everyone. Mindset. He's big in the mental game. He knows everything there is to know about mechanics and stuff like that. But I think purely a lot of guys, what's been big for them is pitch plan, throwing to hitters' weaknesses and really understanding that and him putting in terms that we can understand quickly and we can hop on board with it. And then you've seen, Ty Floyd at the end of the season was great last year, and then he's made an even bigger jump this fall because Wes is there and can kind of give him the path for success. So I think he's been huge. Yeah.
So when you last year you're sitting what, mid to upper mid 90, 95, 94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
In the Cape you're sitting 98, 97, 98, or you're touching 98, right? Did anything go into that progression of did you change anything to increase or sustain the velo throughout the course of the game, or is that just kind of the natural progression of just getting more innings, understanding what you're doing, repeating it? What goes into that?
I think it was kind of just the built up on the innings. Towards the end of the season, the college season last year, I hit 98 a couple times. But also in the Cape, I was just trying to be smoother down the mound, kind of let the motion happen instead of force things and force adjustments. So I think that was big. And then I've made a few minor things this fall that have kept me in the 97 range.
Because it feels like everybody.
Well, I'll tell you.
96.
I'll tell you. See, you see the smile on his face right here.
Yeah.
I have a quote from someone very, very, very close to the program who said, "I don't think I've ever seen it this deep on a college staff ever in my life before."
I've also got a quote from somebody very close to the program that said, "This pitching staff alone may have 6 first rounders."
Yeah.
Talent-wise.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to be fun to be in that room, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's got to be fun, right?
to go there, you're throwing, like, everybody's, one, you want everybody to do well, and two, seeing them do what they're doing is good for everybody. Like, you elevates your game, it elevates the guy next to your game because you want to continue to grow and get better because you don't want necessarily to be passed up, right? Competition is good. Is that what y'all feel?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's always a competition. Everything we do, like me and like we compete in the weight room. We've played games this fall where it's like there's been a bucket and we're just tossing balls in the bucket, but it would be like a pitching staff wide competition.
Right.
Like everything we do is competition, but it's all like it's all love. Like we all want everyone to succeed, but it's also with the amount of guys in there. Like I didn't have a changeup last year, but I want to work on one, so I can go to Ty Floyd to whoever it may be and be like, yo, how do you?
Does he have the best changeup?
Is
he the best changeup on the team? Yeah,
it's pretty good. And we throw from like, I mean, I'm a little bit like higher, but similar, like over the top. So I thought he'd be a good person to go to. But like everyone is like open for questions, because his game's elevated. Whenever I'm open to him, mine's open when he's open to me. So it's a lot of fun.
Because there's a world where that goes the other way, right? Where he sees the way that like Jay Johnson's building this team. He's bringing a bunch of people in that like you may not know everybody. You were on staff before, but then when they get here, you kind of have to not make them, but you want them to feel welcomed, because this is a new way to do college baseball. Like LSU has never done it like this before. Jay brings in all these new faces. It doesn't make any sense if you aren't cohesive together. So it's good to see that it's going the right way, as opposed to like, no, bro, everybody's talking behind each other's backs. We're all just here to be for 1 year, go to the league. I want to be the ace, like all that stuff. I haven't heard a single thing about that from all the guys that have come through here.
No, everybody talks about the team and how excited they are with the team going forward. You talked about Wes. How much does he talk, coach up, bring up the analytics, like spin rate stuff? Like, is he big on that, or is that just part of his teaching, right? Like, some people are like, oh, it's the only thing they talk about, but then they don't use really their eyes and like the common sense of baseball. And there's other guys that kind of have a happy medium. What kind of coach is he, and like how much has that been, or how helpful has that been to the pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, he's huge on analytics, huge on numbers, but he also has like the eye part of it. Like I'll be throwing, and he'll pick something up mid-outing, and then afterwards he'll like dive into the analytics, and he'll be like, I saw this whenever you're throwing. Here's what we need to change. Here's why. Here's all these reasons. So he's kind of a mix of both, but I think he might know the most analytics I've ever seen in baseball.
What's the big one that he harps on the most?
There's the one that I thought was the coolest that I've only ever heard him say once, and it was like like force plate mounds and like the force plate hitting stuff. Like he was pretty much the one with the idea for the force plate mount.
Really?
Yeah.
Catch any residuals for that?
Did
you make any money? I mean, you're the finance guy.
Maybe that's how we got him here.
I just like coaching ball. Now I'm good.
Yeah. But
That's crazy.
He was good friends with someone who did force plates, and he kind of mapped out like what he wanted the guy to do, and how he wanted it to be, for how he thought he could help him, and the dude made it. And so now force plates are huge in like pitching.
That's crazy.
I bet him and Marucci are going to be great friends.
That's
just
crazy.
a couple of tinkerers.
Yeah,
he'll be in there.
Well, Jack doesn't really do much of that anymore.
You'd be surprised.
So you talk about Ty and picking his brain on his changeup. You talked about being in the Cape and how it was huge for you your huge goal there was to make adjustments. How has it been with the things that have clicked over the back end of the season last year through the Cape and all that stuff? How has it been for you with your off-speed stuff and being able to make adjustments? Is that stuff coming along quicker as well? Like, how does that go?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely coming on a little bit quicker. I think another thing with this fall though is like I got through lineups last year in the season just throwing two seams and cutters, and like I could do that in the fall too. Like I could go out every single outing in the fall and throw two seam and cutter, and I could get outs. but that's not what's gonna. Whenever me and like Wes have like had conversations about like where I wanted to go and like the plans for the spring, like that's not what's gonna make me as successful as possible.
Right.
So there'd be an outing where like the cutter is my favorite pitch to throw, and I'd throw one of them, and I'd just be all speed, like doing all that stuff like that.
I was gonna ask that question. Like, what has he done to help you change the way you approach hitters? Right, like, because everybody's got like, as a hitter, you have one way. Okay, this is how I'm gonna hit. This is what I like to do. This is what I think my strengths are. This is what I think makes me the best hitter. And then you get a hitting coach, and something clicks, and you have this conversation. You're like, well, that's not. This is what you should be doing, and then all of a sudden you do it, and you do your numbers are way better, right? What has he done, or if he's done anything to help you change the way you attack hitters and the way that you approach how you pitch?
Yeah, I think he kind of showed me we get TrackMan reports after every outing, and one thing that was like that clicked once he like showed me and like pointed it out was like my four seam, for example, like it plays a lot better up in the zone. And so I was
a lot of ride to it? What is it? Is it IVB?
IVB,
What is your IVB?
My highest is like 25.
Whoa!
But the highest on the staff, I think, is a 27.
I mean, that's unbelievable. Like, what's normal? Like 17?
Like
16?
18 to 20, 21. That's my four seam will average around 19, 20. But like I'll get the occasional one that just like jumps.
Yeah. Wow.
But he like showed me the swing and miss, like the swings on all like on the like the strike zone, and like you'd see contact, but then once you got like above the belt, above the belt, it was like swing and miss, swing and miss, swing and miss. So like that was just one thing that he's like shown that was like pretty obvious. Like once you're like actually look at it,
right?
Like,
Hey, don't tell me that what I'm doing. Show me why we need to do it. Right? I think that's the beauty about it.
And to flip it to the other side too, because you probably don't hear much of the other side of it, but he can tell you too. Like as a hitter, handling the belt is like, it's pretty doable. But once you start like floating and staying at the belly button and kind of like teasing me with the belly button and maybe getting, dude, it's really
about
hard.
Here?
See, here we go. Here we go. He couldn't resist.
Teasing me with the belly button.
Once you
got a long way to go.
Once you get over that area, like when you can kind of stay there, it becomes like really hard for a hitter to like decipher one if it's a strike because they all look the same in that area then, and then now you don't know when to swing and not to, and that's a really you really can't catch up to belly button higher.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, is this something that is you're able to do innately with this IBV, like be able to get rise, or something that can be taught? Because it feels like when it came onto the scene, it was like, oh, this guy's fastball just has rise to it. It's not like something that you can work on. It felt like, but has there been strides in that in terms of pitching, like where there's a process you can go through to be able to get more rise, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to everything where you can do stuff like I changed my four seam grip a little bit to where I was like more on the seams and ripping through it a little bit more. And then like trying to like feel my hand out there a little bit differently than how I had been before. But at the end of the day, like some guys are gonna have more. Like Ty Floyd's rides a lot. Bryce Collins's rides a lot. He's always gonna have a little bit more than someone with like a lower arm slot. And so it kind of depends on like just who you are. Like for Paul Skeens, I mean, he's from the side. Really good for him is 14, 15.
Yeah.
But because he's from the side, it plays up a lot more than 14, 15.
And there's 100.
Yeah, and he throws 100.
Yeah. And he's 7'2".
Yeah.
And he's 7'2".
It's crazy. We've had some hitters come on, right? Dylan Cruz has been on the show. A bunch of the guys have come on the show. I've asked
Tommy
him this,
Tanks.
Huh?
The
Tommy Tanks. I've asked him the question from the hitter's perspective, right? Because the pitching staff has been so deep. The hitting, the lineup's obviously very good, but the pitching staff's been so deep, and they're facing guys throwing 95 to 99 miles an hour regularly. Doesn't seem like they are going to face a better staff in the regular season than the guys that they're facing right now, right, every day. And asking how much better that's made them and all that stuff. So I want to flip it to you, right? Now, the pitching staff, you have to go up against a lineup full of All-Americans, a lineup that if you make a mistake, they can leave the yard anytime they want, right? I think anybody in the lineup really can do that. How much better has that made y'all as a staff, and how much have you learned about yourself going up against guys that are going to be 1 overall draft picks, first-round picks, second-round picks throughout the course of the fall?
Yeah, I think it's made everyone better. Because, I mean, if you take Dylan, for example, like, you throw a really good pitch, you get him 0-2, you throw a great pitch that he does a really good take, you make one mistake, 1-2, and it's in the seats. Like we had a lot of that early in the fall where we have a lot of really good pitches. You make one mistake, it's a ball in the gap, it's a ball maybe Trey Morgan fights it off, and then he gets a really good pitch later. And so I think as a staff, later on, you see the same hitters over and over again.
Yeah.
So you start to pick up their weaknesses, and you really start to pitch to that plan and pitch to their weaknesses. And you'll make a mistake and they'll put one in the seats. It's whatever. But
they should. That's better.
Well, that's because you see them all the time.
Right.
It's part of it too.
And I think it was kind of big for us, especially with Wes, mapping it out and helping us with it, is really selling out to our pitch plan and really selling out to the weaknesses and where our strengths are and stuff like that. So it's made everyone better because, I mean, in high school, I could throw 92 and down the middle and get away with it. Yeah. But now I'm facing Dylan Cruz.
He threw 92 down the middle. He's
92 down the middle.
Thank you. I'm hitting the ball over the hitter's eye.
How much do you guys as a group of pitchers, and then obviously as a group of position players, how much do y'all talk to each other about helping each other out? What you see, what they see, what you may be giving up, what they may be giving up, stuff like that. Because that stuff like that helps, but not every team usually does it. So
yeah, I think it's pretty open. Yeah. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Gavin. Yeah, it was Gavin Dugas. I threw him a first pitch slider, and he hit it for a double, and I was like, that was a really good pitch. It was on the corner, at his knees. What? How do you hit that? So I he was open because I went up to him and asked him about that, and he talked about previous at bats that he had against me, and what he was thinking about going into that at bat, that helped him to hit a double off me on a pitch that I thought was exactly what I wanted to do. And I've done that with multiple guys, just ask questions. So it's pretty open.
I think that's a huge part of a team, right? Because hitters see things that pitchers don't see, right? You can be throwing bullpens around your guys in the pitching staff, and they're not going to see something because they don't look at a pitcher the same way a hitter would look at a pitcher, and vice versa, right? You look at hitters differently than hitters. When you have pitchers and hitters working together to say, hey, man, this is what I saw. I may be wrong. I don't really know what the hell I'm talking about, but this is what I saw, and then alert you to something, whether it's, you're tipping or, something just looks a little different and brought it to your attention and you're able to fix it, either in game or after game. That's huge. When I was playing in Detroit, Shane Green was one of my buddies. He was a closer for us. And I was I was playing well, and I went through a 10-day stretch. I'm like, man, something just feels off. And so I was saying it, and Shane, without me asking him, came up to me in the dugout and said something hey, man, it looks like you're doing this. I don't really know. I don't hit, but it looks like this is what you're doing. I went home. I went to that day after the game. I went into the video, watched it. Oh shit, that's what it is. And then the next 10 days, I got went on 10-game hitting streak. It's just something like that easy. But to have the connection, I think is super important, especially with a bunch of new guys. And that's gonna be my next question: is with all these new guys, obviously they had the fall, so you have time to get acclimated to Louisiana, to the guys on the team. How has that been with y'all, just everybody acclimating to each other and kind of getting on the same page? Because a lot of these guys came from different universities, right? Which is kind of hard when you're not coming from high school to college. You're going from one college to another college, and you have different voices. How has that been? And are y'all pretty tight?
Yeah, we're pretty tight. At the beginning of the year, we had a mental coach come in, and we ate lunch, and one thing he kind of noted was that all the guys that knew each other sat over here, all the new guys sat over here. And when we went in the meeting, he was like, well, what'd y'all notice about that? And so we spouted off some ideas, and someone finally got it right. But it pointed out that as there's there was 20 new guys or something like that. So there's half the team from last year is gone. We don't know half the team. And just purely on paper, we have a really good team, but we're not going to do anything. If you can't trust the guy that's sitting right next to you, I can't trust the guy that's going with the bat. So we've been pretty deliberate about mixing it up, talking to new guys, and
it's
that was
the Titans.
Well, it's a little different, but
no, we gotta go. You gotta go.
Same,
you gotta go.
Concept. Jesus.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You gotta go get to know your teammates. What your daddy do?
Oh my god.
So that's how you build camaraderie, though, because it's easy for guys. Like, even though they don't know each other, the group that came into like the transfer portal, that's the one thing they all have in common, right? Mm-hmm. So they're all going to naturally kind of go towards each other. It's like, well, we have one thing that I know we can all talk about. And then the guys that are on the team, it's like, you already know each other. So it takes almost a third party to be like, y'all didn't even realize that y'all were doing this, but you're doing this because it's almost like first day of school, like, oh, we all went to junior high together, now we're in high school, and then there's an influx of like sophomores and juniors, like, I don't know any of these people, so I'm going to hang out with the friends I'm comfortable with. And so to have like a mental coach come in and be like, look, you have to kind of stop this right now, so it's going to get worse. Like, there's a chance you could form a divide in that way.
How's that thing been? So, like, this is, like you said, like, this transfer portal thing is pretty new, and especially with the volume of people that are in it and that move. You guys got a bunch of transfers in, right? But you also have a bunch of incoming freshmen that came in. I gotta imagine for those young guys that came in, this situation's tough because you're not just getting guys from here, you're getting guys from there, that's been here. How has it been for those young guys kind of mixing into this group?
I think it's been good for them. I mean, I haven't really heard any of them talk about it being bad. I think everyone's just excited that we got guys like Tommy Tanks and Thatcher and all these guys coming in because the better guys we get, the more games we're going to win.
The names that keep coming up, I'm just like, Jesus.
Like, I forgot about Thatcher, actually.
how's that?
Really forgot about him, but like,
yeah,
you haven't really heard much.
Because well, if it's one team would be like excited to get Tommy Tanks, they'd be like, this would be the capstone of the class. Like, oh, we went to the portal and got Tommy. Like, that's what Florida would probably feel like. LSU, it's like just you're on the hit squad now. Like, it's just one name after another.
What's the expectation, right? Like, everybody has expectations. Everybody says, man, Omaha's the goal. Omaha's where we want to be. We need to win a national championship. Some teams say they kind of shy away from saying, oh, we're just taking one game at a time. Obviously, you got to do that, the cliche stuff. But like when we were there, they had just made it to Omaha, right? When I came in as a freshman, they weren't shy about saying, hey, if we don't make it to Omaha, we don't win the World Series, like we're going to be disappointed in ourselves, right? Like that's what they were saying. Like the older guys were telling the younger guys. And so for me, I think it's important not to shy away from those expectations, but internally, obviously, y'all know how good you are. Do y'all have that kind of air of confidence? Like, you know what? We're good enough. Like, Omaha is the goal. Like, going to win a national championship, it's not just words. It's something that we truly believe in.
Yeah, I think national championship is what we believe in. I mean, LSU, we got 6 of them. Like,
right.
I don't think LSU, going to Omaha is always cool. Like, yeah. I've never been. Both my brothers have been.
That was gonna be my next question too.
And they both like really enjoyed it, and they didn't win a national championship, but they thought Omaha was the coolest thing ever. But at LSU, like it's a tradition. Like
right.
There was years and years and years where not a single class had not made it to Omaha.
Right.
And so I think just purely us as like competitors and stuff, and the tradition of the program and all the guys we brought in, like national championship is the top for us. Like that's the only thing we're going for. And but we also know that you don't win a national championship by wanting to win a national championship. Like you can't.
Yeah.
You got to make it to the SEC tournament before you can make it to a regional, before you can make it to a super.
Some may argue that the SEC tournament may be tougher than the national championship, rather than Omaha, just because of the teams that you have to play in tournament and the way you're doing it, and how short the time frame is. But I love to hear you talk about your brothers. All right, that was gonna be my next question to you. Obviously, very baseball athletic family, right? For those that don't know, tell everybody the family tree, where the brothers went to school, where they played, and you played against your second brother, right? Yeah, your middle brother.
Yeah. So Colin, my oldest brother, he graduated high school like 2016, so he's a little bit older than me, like pretty solid bit older than me. He went to JUCO for 2 years. Then he went to Arkansas for 2 years, and then UAB for 2 years.
Stinky.
6?
Yeah, 6. Because he
was he COVID?
Yeah, COVID. He redshirted his first year at Walters because they had like a recruiting thing where they weren't allowed to be in the playoffs. So their coach was like, we'll redshirt you this year, playoffs next year, and then you'll get out of here. But then he tore his UCL. Damn. So he went to Arkansas with a torn UCL, threw for him.
Through
With a
torn UCL? Like,
no, he repaired it.
surgery.
Yeah, he had surgery, and then
So
the
he
next
went
year,
there injured. Like,
yeah, he went there rehabbing,
right.
and then
You had me confused there too. I was like, wait, huh?
Yeah, so then he spent 2 years there, 2 years at UAB, so he was a 6th year. And then Evan did all 4 years at Arkansas through like maybe a combined 20 innings his first 3 years, and then
shoved, right?
Like shoved for him, like went 3 of 3 down twice against us. It wasn't.
Yeah,
fun,
I remember that.
It wasn't a fun time in the
And
family.
that's why I wanted to ask.
Eyes, or are you just like this guy?
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to ask, because I knew both of them went to Arkansas, right? But like, so what? How did that happen? Like, they went to Arkansas. You're from Alabama, right? So they go to Arkansas. You come to LSU.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So Arkansas is actually kind of a crazy story. Like, I was at team trials for 15U national team, USA, and like Michael Brooks, who's at, I think he went to UCF. He went to Arkansas, then UCF. He was talking to my dad. My dad was talking about how Evan was like 90 mile an hour from the left side, like good slider, whatever, just kind of going through like all their kids. And he was like, "Is he going anywhere?" He's like, "No." He's just, I need to get on the phone with someone right now. So we like called Arkansas, like just right there in the middle of the conversation. I think it may have been Wes, Coach Wes, that he called.
He was there.
I can't remember if he called Coach Wes or maybe the recruiting coordinator, but my dad talked to him on the phone for a little bit, and then eventually, I don't know if it was Wes then or Wes after, but Coach Wes was like, "Yeah, I remember seeing him seeing him at Lake Point, being like, I like this kid," like, and asking the dude next to me, like, "Is he going anywhere?" He's like, "Yeah, I think he's committed." So like Wes hopped off of him, and so he went on a visit like a week later, committed on the spot. And then was at Arkansas from then on out. But whenever, like, I got to LSU because Cole Henry is from my high school.
Oh,
okay.
So he was like best friends with my brother growing up.
He's doing it too. He's pitching well.
Yeah. He he just had TOS.
Yeah. No.
But he's throwing. He should be good.
Thoracic. That's a crazy surgery, man. It's like a rib, right? Like a loose rib.
Yeah. The first rib. It's like it was pinching a nerve, so it was just kind of affecting.
I've seen like 4 or 5 guys have it and keep it.
Didn't need it.
Well, I've seen people like have it and keep it, like Ziploc bag, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He has a thing.
There you go. Yeah. Like,
there you go. Finish.
Legit. They give it to you the way out. Like, hey, you want
just
this?
In case you didn't put it back in.
Exactly. Yeah.
What?
Like the Bible.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
So then you knew Cole Henry.
So Cole Henry kind of got in contact with LSU through him. Nolan Kane saw me throw. Alan Dunn saw me throw. Went through the whole recruiting process with them. Talked to Arkansas. Everyone always asks me like why I didn't go to Arkansas. Like I talked to them like once.
They didn't reach out to you.
Yeah, I talked to Coach West like once, but they weren't on 2021s yet, so I didn't didn't go down that route. Kind of wanted that to be my brother's thing, so I didn't like pursue it heavily. But when I stepped on campus, my recruiting visit, it was like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like,
so I mean, you can't disclose everything, but where'd y'all go on the recruiting?
But tell us everything.
Yeah, what'd y'all do?
Yeah, my big three were Vandy, Auburn, and then LSU.
Who Vandy would have been?
I'd imagine that Vandy recruiting trip and the LSU recruiting trip with the boys are a little bit different.
I don't know. Vandy's a Nashville coach.
I've been, but I'm just saying it just feels like you hit a little bit different if you're.
When you came on the visit here, though, what made it different for you? Like what? You said I walked on campus and I knew like, damn, that's where I need to be. Like what was because when you're coming out, right? LSU's obviously still really good. They're still a name brand in college baseball, but Vandy was kind of like the standard at the time, right? They were winning national championships. They still obviously are very good. When you came on campus, like what made your mind up? Like, damn, this is where I need to be.
Yeah, so I guess that visit would have been like 2017. So this is like right after Omaha. The first thing I say when I call them, they're like, meet us under the flags. So I go and stand under the flags, and I'm looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay,
that's a lot of flags here.
Great move.
And then they like come out and get me, kind of show me around. And I'm looking at the stadium. It was like, Vandy's isn't this big. Auburn's isn't this big. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Go look at all the facilities. Talk to Coach Maneri. Talk to Coach Dunn. Conversations went great, and just where I ended up, where it felt like would be my best path to do what I wanted.
Who's your host?
It was. I didn't have a host because I was unofficial.
Oh, it was unofficial.
Yeah.
So you never came
I was
on
in
an
ninth
official
grade.
visit.
Never came on an official
Wow.
because of COVID.
Oh,
Wow,
I forgot
that's
about
crazy.
that. Damn, official visits where all the fun happens.
Yeah.
You get to go do all the
So
things.
Broadway art, well, you know.
Well, did you go on officials anywhere else, or you just when you committed?
No,
and
he
then
said it's
that was
COVID.
it?
Yeah, the COVID, I couldn't.
Couldn't
But
go anywhere.
No, you
I
just
mean,
said
I
that.
wouldn't have anyway. Like I would.
Yeah, right.
You're in a 1-on-1.
Yeah, you got you out there.
Listen, I had a good time. We got Gosman came on his visit, and it was me and Renato, and Maneri like never does this, but Maneri took us in his office and he said, "Hey, gotta get this kid. Do what you gotta do. We gotta get this kid. Show him a good time." All right. Showed him a good time. He committed the next day. If you talk to him today, he'll tell you stories. We had a good time.
I think it's funny though hearing about him and his brothers. I don't think people understand like how easily it happens, but like it is very easy to slip through the cracks. And it
Especially
doesn't
in
matter
baseball.
how good you are in baseball. Like there's so much good baseball that's played, and then obviously like there's so many kids playing baseball. It's so easy to slip through the cracks, and it's
not as prevalent on social media. It's starting to get that way, but like football, everybody's got a huddle and they've got their highlight films, and like baseball, it's hard to see. Like there's a lot of guys that hit the ball far, throw the ball hard, and run really fast, but stink when they get into the game, right? Like it's hard to do it because you have to go watch the game film to really see how good they are.
Yeah.
Well, and baseball's never going to really change, right? Like it's the people that are in charge of that kind of stuff, especially from the pro level. It's like they're still doing pen and paper.
No, they're changing.
Well, here's the thing too. Here's the weird thing too. Like, and I can say this, and obviously you kind of already touched on it, but like, if you got a kid who, let's just say he's a pitcher who sits 92, and or a hitter who is good in his area and good on the circuit that he's played in and travel ball that he's played in, but all he's really seen is like 89 and 92. And that same pitcher, all he's really seen is that type of hitter, right? And then now you bump it up, and now he's facing 93. He's seen some 3s and 6s and 7s, and he can't touch a ball. It's a jump. It's a huge jump.
Yeah,
and as a pitcher, it's a huge jump when you got guys that you can dominate that, and then all of a sudden they can hit 92, and they can handle 92 easily. Well, shit, what else do I have? Like, right? You know what I mean? Like,
then you gotta learn how to pitch.
Yeah, then you gotta learn how to pitch. And it's the same thing as a hitter. He's like, hey, I can hit a fastball that's 92. I can't hit the one that's 96 and at the belt. And I definitely can't adjust to anything after that. So I'm screwed now. I look good though when I'm facing that.
It's like what you were saying when you were in high school. It's like I could have gotten away with 92 over the middle. Right. Now, if I do that, it's 450 in the seats.
Right. And some guys never figure out how to pitch and do other stuff. Some guys never learn how to hit and do other stuff. It's just it happens.
Outside of the usual suspects on the team, Dylan Cruz, all those guys, hitters, pitchers, whatever. Who's the guy that you've been impressed with the most that you're like, damn, okay, this guy either has been on the team, made this huge jump that like he looks like a different player, or a new guy that came in, you're like, damn, I didn't know he was that good, but he's that good.
I think there's two new guys. I think Paul Skeens, obviously, get those 99, 100, and hits tanks. Like that's cool to watch. And then Paxton Kling was a new guy that surprised me.
And you talked about, because we talked about on the show, Paxton came on the show, I guess right around the draft time when he decided, when he came out and said he wasn't going to go to the draft. And it was a video interview, and we were talking to him, and he just seemed very mature and very like calm. Didn't seem like he wasn't nervous about being on a show, and he wasn't nervous about talking. He just very comfortable. And obviously we watched video of him, so we had seen it, and that the fact that you're saying it, saying that he has a chance to fight his way into maybe in the starting line or a role is pretty impressive. What are they going to do at second base? I've got a lot of guys competing, right, for second.
Yeah, there's a lot right now. I mean, we got Gavin over there, Ben, JT can. I don't really know like the whole like. There's so many guys that like I don't know how it's gonna shake out with like the three positions, but there's gonna be some mix of all those guys, and then Guidry too. Gavin and both Gavins are over there.
And then what about the catching position? There's I feel like there's a lot of catchers. You got like 3 or 4 now on the team. I think I don't know. I could be wrong, but has anybody really separated themselves? Are they going to go with the veteran, or are they going to go with a new guy? Like you don't know. Let me rephrase that. Not who are they going to go with. Who has impressed you behind the plate as far as things that they've done, either calling a game, catching a game, or offensively?
Yeah, I mean, Milazzo is Milazzo. Like
he throws everybody out. Yeah.
Throws everyone out, and he's a good receiver, so he's always fun to throw too. Yeah, he's hilarious.
I heard he's the funniest guy on the team.
Oh yeah,
I've heard that from multiple sources.
We came up with a list one day, and it was like
great. Let's go down.
It was Milazzo, Josh Pearson.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's a funny guy. Get Pearson on the show.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He's hilarious. And then a good bit, and then like kind of everyone else.
Oh, a little gas. So there's just 2 and then the rest.
Yeah.
So we got 2 at the top. Okay, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
I figured Coop would be somewhere on there, but I guess he's somewhere. He's so much just.
He's
himself.
at the top of the everyone else.
Top of everyone else. Okay. Okay, so back to the catch. Milazzo does his deal, and then who are the other guys behind the dish?
Brady Neal. He surprised me whenever he came in. He just kind of does his thing back there.
Right.
It's pretty solid. And then Jared Jones hits the ball really hard.
Jared Jones. That's a great baseball name.
You make
too.
a mistake.
Oh.
You make a mistake over the middle. It's 100
hard.
plus. It's double, home run, whatever.
Wow, that's exciting.
Interesting. Got a lot to cover.
There's a lot. I mean, I feel like you can have 2 teams with the
Mm-hmm.
guys you have on the road. Now they obviously have to. Jay's got a tough job.
Yeah.
Because I think you also have too many guys on the team. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I think based off of the going back down to 35, so he's gonna have to figure out.
No, but it's 35 plus COVID seniors because COVID seniors don't count.
When does
That's a
this
huge
thing
thing.
get over?
I think this has to be last year.
Yeah,
I think it's the last year of it. Yeah.
But I think we have maybe 4 COVID seniors, so it's
So you
like
have 39 guys.
spots.
Damn. COVID really fucked some stuff up, huh?
And then made some things great, like this. You can add 4 more players.
You're right.
True.
You're right.
So I mean, I got a question for you, dude. Like the fall's over right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're winding down the end of the football season. New calendar year is coming up soon. For you, like this will be your second year here. Second year here, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think you had the COVID year too. Second year here.
True stuff.
Right. That's what I thought. Second year here, and obviously you've played a lot of baseball throughout your life. What's like for you? Like, what's like the most exciting part about like the prospect of starting a new season? Like, what gets you going when you come back to school and you be like, oh shit, like it's here. Like, what's the most exciting part for you?
I think it's just get to play baseball. I mean, I love baseball, but I think the most exciting thing is just getting to watch like all the other guys. I get to watch Paul Skeens.
Yeah, like do it for real.
Do it for real.
Yeah.
I get to watch Dylan do it for real again.
Yeah.
He's always fun to watch.
Yeah.
Get to watch Tommy hopefully hit 30 plus jacks again. So it's kind of being able to compete with those guys, and instead of them being on the opposite team, I get to be like, oh, that's fun. I'm not throwing a Dylan Cruz. I get to watch Dylan Cruz.
So you're a legit fan of the game then?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Are you? So obviously, you can cliche me to death, and you can do the coach speak and say, well, look, we got to focus on the games that we have.
1 game at a time.
Yeah, 1 game at a time the whole day. I get
Series
it.
at a time.
I've been there, say that, done that, believe it. It's a true thing. But at the same time, you look at the schedule and you're like, all right, this one I can't wait to play. Right, this series I'm looking forward to. This one, like let's go. Is there a specific series that's on the schedule that you're like, all right?
Is this a loaded question?
No, because
feel like
because last year, let's say I'm sure you're like, I want to play against my brother. I think I'm sure that was one that you had circled on there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's one I have in mind, but I just want to know what he's looking forward to.
Yeah. I think kind of the ones I'm most excited for are like the games with specific guys pitching. Like I want to face like the Dollander. Like I want to face Herschel Waldrop again. I want to like because he like shoved it up our butt for 7 innings. Like that'd be fun to.
Yeah, no doubt.
To face guys like that because those guys are really good. I don't think there's a specific like series per se, but I think it's always fun to see like
match yourself up against the best.
Match yourself up or watch those guys and then watch kind of the battle of maybe they get us in the first 2 innings, but then someone puts one in the gap and then walk and then Dylan Cruz hits a home run and then. Like stuff like that.
Last year the strength of the pitching staff was the bullpen. Right, I think that was. They had some talented starters, kind of up and down, but the bullpen was always. It just felt like they pitched well from the beginning and whatever. You lose some of those guys that pitch in the back end of the bullpen. Some of those guys are maybe not starting or wherever they are. How is the bullpen going to look? Because starting pitching, it seems like it's super deep. You have a very good pitching staff. who do you expect to step up and be the closer, the anchor of the bullpen, or guys that you can just count on coming out of the bullpen?
I can't really give you that answer because there's
a lot.
There's a lot. And if you
love that.
Of the guys who have thrown like the starting roles of the fall, like some of those guys are going to get bumped back to the pen than those guys. But we also don't know who the three are that are going to take those starting spots. So the other three are going to be the closer, the whatever it may be. So I think it just kind of all shakes out to who the three are at the end of the season.
And do you think this is a year where probably more than ever where you see it happen more in season? Like they can attest to this with Paul Maneri whenever he did like a midseason shakeup, right, where he moved somebody. He moved DJ LeMahieu from shortstop to second.
That was like an end of the season shakeup.
Right. Yeah, end of the season shakeup. But I don't think it'll be to that extent. But because you have so many guys, and I don't want to say a limited amount of time, but you don't really know what you got till you get into a game. Do you think that the team that you see at the beginning of the year is going to be far different than the team that you see in the middle of the year? I feel like people are going to define their roles differently, and everybody can play. We know that, but it's just about finding where they're most comfortable in when the season gets going, whether it be somebody gets hot, what have you, or like they feel more comfortable in the pen. I feel like this is going to be a year where Jay Johnson has to probably tinker the most because of all of the new pieces.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the beauty of like the amount of talent that we do have is we don't have to have our Omaha lineups first week. We can kind of Jay Johnson can kind of play around with it a little bit, and then also I feel like in college baseball it always mixes up a little bit. It might mix, some seasons might mix up a little bit more than others, but I think the guys that we started with last year were different than the guys we ended with, and then years prior, Will Homer's a pitcher now, and he was the game one starter his freshman year. So I think it always kind of changes.
That's crazy.
Or the game one third baseman.
Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, you're awesome. This was, great interview. You're making me very excited. But football season, college football season, basically over. So it's.
Did you enjoy football season?
It's about to be your turn.
Yeah.
Did you play any other sports in high school?
I did in like ninth grade. I played football in ninth grade.
So you just after that was just baseball.
Yeah,
you just baseball guy.
Baseball.
His dad's over there working the phones. He was trying not to get his kids on college.
You're a two-way guy in high school, though, right? You're a hitter too. You hit some bombs.
All the way through.
A couple. Yeah, all the way through.
Nice.
Yeah. He put.
First base.
Okay.
Yeah, don't let him run too much out there. We need him on the mound. So
just keep those legs. Just hit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But man, this is a good and entertaining football season for y'all.
Yeah,
right?
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was better than last year. That's for sure.
The thing is, y'all are forced to rush the field because of where you have to sit. So it's more of a health thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So whenever the LSU Alabama game, you got to go down there.
Do the guys all go to the games?
Yeah. I think the Bama game, we had our UL. Was that the ULL weekend?
It was. The next day was the ULL game.
So we had a bus leaves at 8. And the whole team's like, I can't leave. Like we're about to beat Bama,
right?
In overtime, I can't leave now. And so we all rushed the field, and then
they had to go back.
Everyone rushed back home to try and get some sleep before. But
so nobody missed the bus. That's what you tell me.
Y'all dominated that scrimmage too, right? Y'all played real well with that, right?
You probably had some UL cats there at the LSU Alabama game. They're like, oh God, I gotta get back to UL.
It's possible.
Maybe possible.
Me, I would have done it.
Well,
that's probably why you weren't playing at UL.
There's a lot of things you would have done. All right, we know this.
Blue guy.
Who are your roommates? Who do you live with?
Kel Lansville, Jason Bowman.
Oh, he's transferring.
Yeah, he's transferring. Yeah. And then Connor Simon, who was on the team last year.
Okay.
But he had a bunch of elbow issues, so he quit.
Sounds like a fun house. I miss college. Dude, should I go back? I miss it. Just a little bit.
It's your master's.
What do you miss about it? Living on campus?
Oh, I didn't live on campus.
Ever?
I'm on first year. That's it.
Oh, what I was about to say.
I do miss my house after that though. It was Austin Knowles' grandparents' old house. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Good spot. Good spot.
LBP?
Good spot. Huh?
Were you both ready?
No.
Stay away.
We had our own spot. But dude, you're awesome, man. This was a great interview. Anytime you want to come on, listen. Baseball season is right around the corner. I love it. MLB free agency is kind of getting baseball back into the conversation. And then once January, I feel like I always felt when I was in college, once January 1 hit and you get through those bowl games, you really start feeling, especially around here, baseball start to get talked about a lot. Now, basketball obviously is there, but they weren't very good when we were here. So I was like, I'm looking forward to it. You're going to see us around a lot. Hopefully we have some pregame shows or doing some stuff over there. But I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Anytime you want to come on. And like I said, we just shoot the shit and hang out and talk. We got the get to know you interview over. At this point, we can just talk. We can talk shop. Next time you come on.
Next time you come on, we're hammering you with personal questions. Okay.
Yeah, get ready. Get ready. Nah, we're not in the embarrassing business. He may.
Watch out for him.
Have you ever seen? You might be telling. Have you ever seen MacGruber? The show MacGruber.
No.
See?
Too young. He's MacGruber. He looks just like him.
He said, "See."
It's a comedian. You know the comedian. What's the comedian's name?
He's on SNL. And is he Barry? Same guy that plays Barry?
No.
I don't know.
Okay, you're an idiot.
I've never even seen MacGruber.
You need to. It's your twin.
I went to go see MacGruber. We rented it at the house, and then I got followed home by police before a golf tournament at like 11. They followed me from the Jackson Street CVS all the way to Horseshoe. Pulled into my driveway behind me, and I was like, brother, it's over. I'm here. Like, the mission is over. Can't get me. Like, I don't know what you're trying to prove here.
So what did they follow you for?
I have no clue.
Suspicion.
I just look suspicious.
You do look suspicious.
I'm just buying Gatorade.
That's definitely
more about.
fitting.
You look more suspicious around schools than you do around driving.
I don't know. Like short hair Lloyd to fool you,
school.
He kind of looked like he was, buttoned up.
Yeah, it was short hair Lloyd.
Oh yeah, true.
I was profiled.
If you saw his license, you'd be like, this ain't the same person.
That's the same guy.
I
tried the corporate world. It wasn't for me.
Oh, really?
All right. We're going to take a little break. Let Grant get out of here. Appreciate you coming on, dude. Big fan of yours. Looking forward to watching you kill it and
just do what you did at the
get out of here. Just keep doing what you're doing now.
Yeah,
okay?
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Just be you. Just be you. You do you, boo-boo, and we'll be all right.
It'll be all right.
All right. You're watching Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We'll be back in 1 minute. Hey y'all, it's Mikey from Mik'd Up. I want to talk a little bit about my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette. They're locally owned and operated for over 25 years. They have 13 locations, 4 in Opelousas, 5 in Lafayette, 1 in Broussard, 2 in Jennings, 1 in Crowley. They sell any type of car you could possibly find: Buicks, GMC, Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia, along with 5 pre-owned locations. They have over 1,500 cars in inventory on site. Unbelievable service, unbelievable people. If you're like me and you're on the go, they can sell and they can ship you cars up to 200 miles. Unbelievably convenient. Again, my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette, go to their website at saveatsterling.com. Awesome people, go check them out. Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become a life of the party. You're welcome. Our What's for Lunch segment is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Maybe the best burger in town. If you're not looking for lunch, you're looking for dinner, go check out Doe's Eat Place. They have unbelievable choice of meats. They have unbelievable tamales. They have a great atmosphere, great vibes. If you're looking for a homey Louisiana type of atmosphere, but you're looking for high quality food, Doe's Eat Place is your spot. Go in the back bar, sit at the bar, have a couple drinks, watch some games, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the vibes. Check out Doe's Eat Place, the best place in Baton Rouge to get your meats. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We are brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Just got done with a great interview with looks like, he's going to be a weekend starter. Looks like probably the Friday night guy to start the season in Grand Taylor. I'd assume he's a Friday night guy to start the year. Football season's winding down. Obviously, LSU has their bowl game against Purdue. You have playoffs, national championships. You still have the NFL. And basketball is gonna be fun. I love basketball season. Basketball is good, but baseball, it just seems like baseball season is the next one that everybody gets real excited about. And it's kind of unfair to basketball because basketball starts during football season. And so they kind of get like lost in the shuffle. And then baseball starts, and during basketball season, they kind of get lost in the shuffle again, right? Baseball, especially here, the championships and everything.
That's what makes
LSU great.
And LSU
right.
unique.
Right. So, obviously he's very excited about the season. We're very excited about the season. I think that everybody has the same expectations. Omaha, not just Omaha, but national championship aspirations. And I'm excited to see the team in action.
You tried to get him there. You tried to get him to the Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
LSU
He did. He
series.
said Dollinger. He said they're starting Friday night guy.
Yeah.
So
what do you think Tennessee thinks of LSU at this point? Obviously,
they think that they're better than us,
that's what I was going to say.
which is fine. They
do you
should think that
they're
way.
Why do they keep bringing
They think
it up?
they've arrived, and it is what it is.
Why? Let me tell you why. Because LSU is the standard of college baseball. Like you've done
That's
nothing.
well known.
You've done nothing at Tennessee outside of having hype and having a lot of talent and winning a lot of regular season games, but you've never won anything meaningful.
And you've only done that for how many years now?
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Right. So like, you didn't even get to Omaha last year. Right. You didn't have. You had the best team in the history of college baseball. You never won. You didn't win. Right. You won a lot of regular season games, but you didn't win it when it mattered most.
No, not you didn't win. Like you didn't get where.
You didn't even get to the World Series.
You didn't even get yourself to a chance to win. Like,
Yeah,
you
right.
weren't even in.
Right.
You weren't even in the
Right.
dance.
Right. So I think in Tennessee's mind, they're kind of compensating a little bit for, oh, everybody's talking about LSU. Look what we've done the last 2 years. We're better than them, this, and this. Yeah, well, LSU, you haven't done anything that LSU hasn't done. Like, you didn't win anything more than LSU has won over the last couple of years. You kind of had that window. Now you kind of look up at the roster and you're like, well, looks like LSU's roster is maybe better than ours, but we're not going to admit that. So, like, I think that's why they are where they're at.
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to come. It's not because of necessarily the matchup. Like, obviously the matchup's going to be awesome. Super talented teams. They've had some history the last couple of years of, some edginess on the games. But for me, I'm looking forward to how the fans are going to interact with Tennessee at home, right? Because the coach likes to be in the media.
Yeah.
The coach likes to make it about him. It's the coach. It's the
Vitello show,
right? And I'm not saying he may not be he may be a great guy. I don't know anything about him outside of what I see on the field. And so I think when those types of guys, coaches, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, when they come here as a visiting coach and you have an LSU team across them that is just as good or better, the fans get after it. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
It's going to be a spectacle.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
And Tennessee isn't scared of.
And you're going to have the top two picks in the draft facing off each other, too, on Friday night. Dollinger and Dylan Cruz are both going to go 1 and 2.
Is Dollinger the kid that throws like 105?
No. That guy got drafted last year.
Okay.
This guy is starting. This guy is like supposed to be. It's either going to be him and Dylan Cruz going 1 overall.
I'm
barring anything like
Yeah, of course.
happening.
I'm excited for these guys to see like if they can get to the point of because that game's 2 or 3 weeks into the SEC.
It's in April.
Right?
So about a month
2 or 3
maybe.
weeks into the SEC season. For me, it's like when I think about the hype that could be around that and the actual buzz that could be in the building because of what this team has already done through that point of the season. I think that'll be a huge series for them. Not just because you're facing Tennessee, but like what they've done, the hype that's been around them, where they'll probably be ranked preseason and at that point of the year if they play the way they're supposed to play. Right, like it's gonna bring to them the real feel, in my opinion, of LSU baseball, weather permitting, obviously. But it's gonna bring the like, this is why you came here, And I'm not sure they've really had that. Since pretty much probably every one of those guys have been on the team. Right?
That's when the weather finally starts to warm up a little bit too. Like once you start getting to April here, like first, second, third week of April, the weather starts to warm up and it gets a lot better.
You're a big weather warm up guy.
What happened last year when it happened? What did happen? Ball started flying out. The lineup got hot. A lot of homers were hit.
It's a real thing. You don't get
shorts get shorter.
That's what I was hitting. The sundress season.
Sunglasses stay on, eyes stay in the stands a little longer.
Foul ball.
Shit, I didn't see that
Foul
pitch.
balls get hit. Free looks.
Hey, boys get. No. Hey, Mikey used to get real. Hey, listen. The weather got warmer. Foul balls went up. Boys will go chase foul balls when they're 13 rows in the stands. They don't care.
The pitchers weren't scared about going chasing anymore at that point. Hey, man.
No shot. Everybody's right on the stands.
Hey, man, Jared hadn't been back in 2 innings. He's looking for that ball, bro. Ball got away from him. He's chasing that thing down.
He's bringing it back to the concession stand for a free coke.
I'll tell you what, if you're a bullpen guy, you have the best spot. because you sit in the bullpen on the field, like towards the latter part of the games, and you don't know if you're going to pitch. So, like, you're in there, you're in the game, but, like, that's where you interact. If you want to be a good teammate, you interact with the boys or for the boys, with the people around you, and you figure out what the move is after the game.
Yes. Who's interested in what?
He said he didn't really go into details. Not just the bullpen that's got the best spot. Like, be the bullpen guy that just threw 45 pitches and shoved 2 innings, maybe 3 innings, and you're down the next day. That's probably
That's the best.
They big chilling that day.
Haven't worn
With a great
sunglasses
view.
all year. Yeah.
With a great view.
Where are the shades at? You still sponsored by Oakley?
Tennis shoes ain't coming
off.
off.
And you start winning, more people start coming.
Yeah.
And it looks like, opening nights can be awesome. It's going to be a sold-out crowd. There's going to be a ton of people. Like, honestly, spring ball is going to be fun. Like, before the season
what's
starts.
so crazy about LSU?
Like, you're going to go there. You're going to start feeling the hype. God, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be fun. Like, and you have everyone we've talked to that's come on the show, every time they've left, we're like, man, this guy's got the right mentality, the right mindset. He says all the right things, and he's obviously very good. Like, when you have all of that mixed together and you have a bunch of guys doing the same things.
I love that everyone that we've had on here and talked about it, like, none of them have really, like, none of them have, like, I say really, like, none of them have shied away from, like, yeah, like, this is what it is.
And that's what leads me to, like, my next thing about LSU baseball. I'm sure we'll talk about this, like, throughout the year. But with the expectations that are already placed on them, if they – I don't even say it has to get off to a rocky start. If they don't almost win convincingly all of the time, it's going to be – the conversation's going to happen because this is LSU baseball and the fan base here is fanatical about it. You don't get that pressure pretty much anywhere else. If it doesn't look the way that people think it should, it's going to get hot here real quick.
It will.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be there.
Yeah, and here's
that's not to say that –
There's going to be a stretch where it's not great.
No, not even a stretch. But I'm just saying, like, that's not to say that there won't be a loss to McNeese or there won't be a loss to Nichols. Like, they're going to lose to somebody they're not supposed to, most likely, probably.
Hopefully not, but maybe.
Well, hopefully not, but probably, right? But I do think you're going to see, like, I do think you'll see a team that makes it to the start of SEC play and they have won every weekend series. They haven't dropped a series to somebody, maybe swept a couple of them. Like, I think you'll see the signs of being like, okay, this team's got a chance.
Come here? Doesn't Texas come here this year?
I don't know.
I believe that because didn't we go to Texas last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they come here. Texas is playing here at LSU, which is gonna be awesome. I don't know if that's ever happened.
That's never happened.
Like without being
no, they did.
Without
they
the
came here.
postseason.
They came here. I think the last year of Augie they came here.
72 days. Dang.
They came here for a series when the Clemens boys were still there because Roger Clemens was here watching. Yeah.
Really?
At least one of the Clemens boys.
But like LSU's gonna have some tests early on.
Yeah.
Right, which is good. Like you want to see that. I don't know.
It's at Texas. If I'm looking at the right schedule. Yeah, they're going back to Texas.
Really? Mm-hmm. That kind of stinks. It's kind of how did that happen? How did you go to Texas 2 years in a row? You sure you're not looking at 21, 22?
What? Austin? What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Show from 6th Street.
You sure you're not looking at the 21-22 schedule?
I'm positive. It's got the countdown to first pitch, unless they're counting backwards.
It's very weird that they're not going here. But anyway.
72 days, 12 minutes, and 42 seconds. 41 seconds. 40.
I would imagine that, like, I know that we were talking about the heat, it being, the noise being loud. If they get off to a start that's not up to the expectations of the fans, I can see that. I think that if they don't do the thing, like if they play solid defense, right? If they're not making like the bonehead like errors or look sloppy.
You want it to look a little different than last year, right?
Yeah, you just don't want it to look sloppy, right? Like, listen, baseball is a crazy game. It's a weird game. It takes a lot of rhythm. It takes a lot of like getting in kind of the swing of things, right? Not a lot of guys start off like guns blazing, right? You want to feel it. Now you hope that's the case and they play that way the whole year. But if there's a stretch early on where like, oh, the offense isn't really clicking or guys aren't really feeling it, like I wouldn't panic, right? Now, if the team is running themselves out of innings and they're making a ton of errors and they look sloppy, okay, why is this happening again?
See,
you know what I mean?
See, but for me, here's why I don't think that's going to be a thing.
And I don't think it will either.
And the reason why I say that is because I think a lot of the rhythm possible slow starts, whatever it could be offensively that could have you not, quote unquote, winning games or looking great, is going to be kind of masked over, is because I truly think, and this is from very close sources of the team, that this pitching staff is that dominant that they're going to be in and around a lot of games, even games that they probably shouldn't be because of how they're playing offensively. That could possibly happen. Actually, it's going to happen. Maybe not at the beginning of the year, but like I think that team is going to be in way more games, obviously, if they stay healthy, because of what they have on the mound this year.
Yeah.
And if those guys, perform the way they should.
Do you get the same feel that y'all had from this team? Obviously, you're not in
No,
the
I
building.
don't. You know what feel I got, honestly? I'm being complete. See, like the weird part is for me, the feel of we had that feel because we went on some crazy stretch at the end of the year, my sophomore year, and we got to Omaha, and we brought in a lot of guys like him and everything like that. We were like, we have to be there, right? Like that has to be a thing. They don't have those experiences, but when you look at what they put on paper, it's hard for me to believe that it's like, hey, dude, like, y'all are going to really have to underperform to not at least make it to the dance.
And the mental coach part, well, I think was very interesting that I didn't know that they brought him in for that reason, right? Like to make sure they bring them all together. Like, I think
really
that
smart.
helps, which is very
Super
smart, right? And I think that's, the difference between that feeling that you're talking about and what this team has is the only guys that came in were freshmen. It wasn't a whole bunch of guys that came in. It was probably, what it was, 7 of us? 6 or 7 of us in that freshman class. So, like, it wasn't like you had this 20 new guys. They have 20 new guys and a new pitching coach that they had to all get used to, which seems like they've done that, right? Baseball is a little different than football because it's a little easier to acclimate to the coaching staff and to the players and to the guys you have because of you have just a lot. It's just different, right? And so I don't think it's the same because of that, but I do believe that they have done everything in their power to get themselves in a position of being a tight-knit team and a close-knit team, which I respect. That's hard to do.
I agree 100% because you could see how it could have gone. Like I kind of asked him, where it's like, oh, of course all the transfers are going to hang out together. They have one thing in common. They all came into the portal together, so let's all hang out together. At least I know what I can ask him.
Right.
We have one thing to talk about. And for them to bring in, or Jay to bring in like a guy to observe this and be like, let's nip this in the bud and make sure that they all get on the same page of like, hey, we're all teammates here. Now that I know y'all came from the portal, but now everybody's on LSU.
Yeah.
And it takes that's the I guess the last bit and like the biggest ingredient of making a really good team, right? We can have everything else on paper, but if they're not together and it's not all towards the same goal, it's not all working together, somewhere along the road is the cracks are going to show up, and that's just kind of how it goes. So you're hoping by them doing something like that so early on, that is, really nipping that thing in the bud before it even becomes a thing.
Right.
Really becomes a thing. Because they could have easily said, hey, let's go the entire fall and let this thing go, and then say, oh, let's try to nip this in the bud in the spring. Maybe a little late by then, right?
Let's see how they do it themselves.
By doing it when they first get there, it's like, hey, let's go. Like this, we're gonna nip this thing here, and we're gonna be able to move right now.
No, they're gonna be in a good spot. It's gonna be a fun baseball season. I'm looking forward to it. We have a lot of big things happening behind the scenes here to make baseball season even better, to make the show even better. So I'm just teasing that a little bit. We're not.
Yeah, we're looking for.
There's a lot of
2023. That's
a lot of action. 2023 is gonna be good. Good year for Mike though.
Little Michael Jordan year, huh?
A little MJ year, huh?
MJ year.
Do it till 2045. Another MJ year. If we're doing this in 2045.
Yeah.
Unless I don't think I'll be alive for that long.
Oh boy.
We ain't even doing this until 2024. 20
22 years.
Yeah, 22
You'll only be 50.
22 years.
You'll be 55. What else you gonna be doing?
I mean,
wait, you said 20, 25?
No,
45.
Oh, I think you said, but I said, bro, what kind of math y'all doing here? I was like,
2045. Before he came in, before Grant Taylor came in.
I guess you'll be a dad by then. You better catch up. Everybody else is popping out babies.
Coach, I got time. Relax.
I'm just saying.
You sound like a female right now.
They're going to form a hell of a squad.
Don't do that.
Pipe down over there. And then my son's going to be the youngest and be the best, so that's fine. They're all girls. They're all popping out girls.
You got one. One, what, only the Osho?
He's the only one got a boy coming.
Okay, you're fine then. Because
So-
you don't want these teams to start forming and you be,
Listen,
you know,
you think
4
I'm
years
worried about
behind.
that? I think I'm worried about that because my son's gonna be playing up with the other ones, and he's gonna be advanced. It's
He's gonna
fine.
be homeschooled for sure.
My son, no shot. No way would he be homeschooled.
2
No way.
sisters.
Big applesauce guy.
You like your mouth playing.
Here comes the airplane. Now do your time. He's gonna learn how to do averages real quick. 3 out of 10 is actually good.
At what age do you stop airplaning kids? That's the real question. Let's talk about that for a second.
When you stop
None of us
airplane
know.
with a spoon?
I mean,
That's still airplane.
Airplaning yesterday.
Hey, Alec, can you airplane me, please? Can you feed me?
baby bird it.
Can you feed me? Just and I want you to make the crash noise when you get my mouth big.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Kobe's there. What is going on right here?
baby bird me.
We were talking about the portal before Grant Taylor came in. We were talking about football. Obviously, I'm trying to swing this back because we got a little time left in the show. We were talking about Jack and the portal. Obviously, you know, I want to say this though because I get on Twitter and we interact on Twitter and we see the things that are happening and people are like bashing Jack and telling him get out of here and leave and do all this stuff and he wasn't good. Like everybody needs to chill out.
I saw the opposite.
I mean, but you see both, right?
Yeah, you'll always see both quitter.
But like, yeah, like the people who think that, like, you just obviously you just never been in those types of situations because that one, it's not what's happening, and 2, like he didn't leave because he fumbled 2 balls on the kickoff. Like that's not what's happening. What's happening is he feels that his opportunity is better elsewhere. He didn't want to leave. He felt like he had to leave because if he wanted to get to where he wants to be, everybody has bigger aspirations, bigger goals, and he wants to play, right? And so, you know, if he feels that's the way, then good for him. Like he's done nothing. He's never badmouthed anybody, never done anything. So I want to say that, but I also
wants to leave less than Jack.
Right. And also want to say, like, you know, the portal's a crazy place, and it's getting crazier and crazier, and more people are getting added to the portal, right? Off air, we're talking about Bama. There's 3 receivers from Bama that are in the portal, plus an offensive tackle. I think Bama's lost 5 or 6 or 7 guys out of the portal. You think it is strategic on their part, on Bama's part, right? Obviously, they're Alabama. Like you don't think that now all of a sudden we didn't make the post. There's gonna be a mass exodus of players. You think it's more of a strategic thing?
Yeah, I think they saw a bunch of people that probably didn't perform up to their. I don't know where I heard this. It was somewhere in the building. They felt like they had misevaluated some cats, and they feel like because of who they are and the colors and the prestige and Nick Saban that they can kind of redo this thing, run it back because of the transfer portal, where they can get out some of the people that they feel like, hey, you didn't play as well as you want. And I'm sure there's a mix of it though, where kids are like, I don't want to, I didn't think Alabama was going to be. I thought Alabama would be different than what it was, but when you see how the staff is probably going to turn over with losing it doesn't feel like Bill O'Brien's coming back, right? They're trying to find a new quarterback, and with that said, Drake May just announced that he is staying.
I told you he was going to stay. Did I not tell you he was going to stay?
You did. I didn't know he was such a legacy there, though.
I told you he was going to stay.
His dad played basketball there, and his brother played basketball.
You don't remember his brother?
I didn't know they were related. I remember his brother.
His brother was the basketball player there.
Yeah.
The one that just recently finished playing there.
Yeah, the one that hit
it
the
had to
game
be,
winner.
Yeah, but it had to be. Yeah.
And then he went to class the next day and like, oh, look how good of a kid he is. And it's like,
I'm going to class 2 if I hit the game winner.
Man,
that's what I'm saying.
He probably was early. He probably never left campus that day.
Say, he wants to be on campus right now.
No doubt.
But for this, so that was, they're going to have to rebuild it, Alabama, and I feel like I don't know who they're going to hire as their offensive coordinator if Bill O'Brien leaves, but he's probably going to have some say, and wherever he comes from, he's probably going to bring a couple cats with him.
I agree. Now, I want to ask this because don't you feel like Alabama is a place where the way that Saban has it set up and the way that they go about coaching up their players and doing their things and building their program. Speaking of, never mind. I'll talk about that after. But, it feels like that you need to be in there for a little bit. Like you need to be young. You need to be impressionable. You need to be like to be into that culture, right? Because you look at the guys they brought in the portal from last year. Outside of Jahmyr Gibbs, all the other guys. Jermaine Burton was supposed to be a baller. He didn't really do that much. Eli Ricks was supposed to be a guy. He didn't really play that much. He didn't really do that much.
It felt like he didn't fit into what Saban.
That's my point, right? Like
that's the toughest thing about the portal.
Exactly, right? Like, but especially with someone who like Nick Saban, who's built what he's built there, and like, hey,
it's not even. You're not wrong,
right?
But I think it's also not even just so much of what he's built there. I think it's a culture shock coming to Nick.
Yes,
and not understanding that he ain't about to be partial to you,
right?
Like a lot of these guys, like we've heard it, and we know it's a thing now. Like people are getting recruited off of what can you do for me, as opposed to do you want to compete and come win a spot?
Hey, let me tell you what I can do for you. I can get you to the NFL,
right? That's how he runs it. That's what I'm saying. That's what he runs it there. But my point is, a lot of these guys, they came out of high school, hot shot. They went to 5 different people. What can you do for me? They choose a school. They go there. Now they want out. Oh man, I really didn't put Alabama in. Let me go there now.
Yeah, they think they get the NFL on their own. Yeah.
Now it's a culture shock in the sense of you ain't getting catered to. And if you can't perform, you ain't gonna play.
100%.
So I think man, that's a difference when you show up there, and it's in a way kind of still being run like the old school way of. You earn the food you eat. You're not just you ain't just gonna get a plate full.
And that's you could see it with the guys that came in the portal this year. There, right? Not obviously Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud. Like
I don't know how he landed at Georgia Tech.
Me either. But some of the other guys that were supposed to be big names that really didn't do anything. My whole point about saying all this is that's a risky move for them. To say, okay, now granted, these guys the guys that are leaving didn't really do anything there,
except for JoJo.
JoJo probably had the best numbers of guys leaving. Now one of them had 6 touchdowns this year. The other guy, I always forget his name.
Well, and I'll say this too. Maybe Nick makes an adjustment. This is probably a lot of coaches in the sense of the guys that maybe he missed out on and lost out on that maybe had that kind of makeup that he wanted. Maybe they didn't make the kind of offers and do the things that they needed to do, thinking that they didn't need to.
Right.
And now maybe he's understanding.
Yeah.
You need to.
In
today's day, like you need to.
We keep talking about May coming over and transferring in, and then you now say he's staying. Like it seems like Saban is gonna want to have one of his young guys that's talented be the quarterback. Like have his guy there for multiple years and like build a team around him because. All of the best teams that Saban has had, like, have been able to do that. Like, they've built their offense through their quarterback and the guys there, and they've all had to build that continuity, right? And like that's just, I feel like that's what he wants to do. And teams that he's been able to, win as the quarterback's trying to adjust, right? Because they've been able to be successful and do the other things and let the guy learn it to go.
And I was thinking too, like I'm just, as we think about this thing. You can go with pro football or you can go with college football. It doesn't really matter, dude. Like when the starter comes out, it is very, 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 very rare do you see the same type of production or success with the backup in, right? So with that being said, like, do we really know that I don't even know his name, but the kid that was the backup there last year, Milroe, do we really know that he isn't an off season and a fall camp away from being a Jalen Hurts in college?
No, you don't. But I think that this is just how it feels like a lot of what fans do. They saw him play. We have a guy that is an Alabama fan. We have a couple of them in the Colada Show chat that are saying Milroe ain't it. Like they saw him play. He got an extended experience with I'm just saying from the fan perspective as to why you're hearing like outside pressure being able to be put in.
Well, no, I get it, but that's what I'm saying. Like when you and then you flip it around and think back in the building, like, do we know he's not that? No, we don't.
And there's a reason he was the backup. Like in terms of like this, he's our number 2. If Bryce Young gets hurt, this is who's coming in, and they have another cat that I think hit the portal. Their third string, that Ty something,
right?
Simpson maybe. And so he's already hit the portal, so that's why people were expecting something to happen.
And Trey Sanders, the running back that hit the portal?
Trey Sanders, yeah.
He tweeted at
yeah, he did.
At Deion Sanders, said, you got a spot for me on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the former 5-star?
Yeah.
Yeah, even hurt the last couple of years, yeah.
And I was about to say, like, you think about, like, the Milroe kid, too. It's like, I don't remember who they were playing, but I was watching the game. When Bryce goes down, right, and he played the rest of that game, he didn't throw for a ton, but he was very effective that game, right? Well, now the team had something to kind of work on that against and game plan against the next game, and that's where you're like, oh, he's not as great. We sit there and we don't remember, like, hey, Tua came in the national championship at halftime.
Yep.
We didn't get to see him play next week.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, you only got to see him play when no one knew what he could do and what he was good at and what they try to do when he's there. You didn't get the game plan against him. And he had a whole spring and a whole fall, right? So it always looks like that because you just don't. Those guys don't get the same reps. They don't have the same timing with people. You don't know. We don't know what that guy's gonna be next year. You don't know how much they believe in him. They might believe in him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't seem like Saban does a lot of the same things that everyone else does, right? Yeah. He obviously does things differently, and for me, it seems like. And he may go get someone in the portal, right? He may go but it seems like the quarterback position, he wants it to be a guy that he brought in, and he's able to groom and then grow the.
Yeah, I just brought it up because Saban doesn't really do much on the offensive side. It feels like they're going to change, so there might be a guy that comes in with a quarterback that he's like, okay.
That could happen.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if someone came in. I'm just not that sold that they're off of the idea of Milroe being the quarterback.
Yeah, and I'm sure Milroe is going to stay.
Right.
The only reason that I would have seen Milroe he's only going to be a sophomore.
Well, I don't even mean leave either. I just mean like in the sense of whoever ends up that might come there is the assumed starter.
Right.
I'm not sure that's what the situation would be.
That's who he, I guess, essentially started the A&M game, and he was able to lead them to a victory. He doesn't play. It probably looked a little different than Jaden Daniels, but it was a lot like Jaden Daniels.
Which is why I said, who's to say he can't be Jalen Hurts in college?
Yeah.
Who's to say he won't be that?
And that's when you get, I'm sure LSU fans are having the same conversation about the quarterback spot because that's just
you had to bring it
back.
back.
What happens. That's just what happens.
I think
you got to see, like he was saying, he's like, you got to see.
Here's my
what
question,
it
though.
looks like.
Here's my response. I think more than just LSU fans are having that conversation right now. I think that's a real conversation going into the offseason.
With who, though? About which quarterbacks?
The three that they have in the building right now. I think. I'm not saying that they're going to make any changes, but I think that I don't think
I just wanted you to clarify which quarterbacks you're talking about. And you're talking about all three.
I don't think Nuss is going to transfer, is my point.
I could see him not.
I don't think he's going to transfer until after spring practice.
Right. I could see
if he doesn't get the job, right? But I also believe that they're very high on Walker.
Right.
And so, I know that you had
we know that.
I know that.
We know that.
Right. Like, I know that they're very high on Walker, and I know that obviously Jaden did what he did this year, but it's not a foregone conclusion. They're not just going to give him the job again, right? I know that had a great year, and he's earned the first look.
Yeah.
I get that. But if you go through spring and you go through the summer and you go through all this stuff and you're like, damn, like every day. Same reason why we talked about there's a reason why Nuss didn't play, because they saw these things over and over and over and over again. If you're seeing somebody outperform the other person over and over and over again, it's going to be hard to keep them off.
I'm going to be honest with you. I personally, this is my personal thoughts. I personally think if Jaden is back, obviously if he doesn't enter the draft and he's back, which I don't know, I don't think he will, right? I personally think he's 1,000%, no matter what happens, opening day starter.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, if the other guy or guys behind him, if they're coming, like Deion, maybe that's not set in stone for forever.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And the reason why I say it is because I think it is a horrible look. Like a really bad message to send to anyone, to the rest of the starting 21 on the team, that you could have the year that he had and lose your job without playing a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And be healthy.
Yeah. Right.
So I think with health willing, I don't even know whoever they play to start the year next year. I think he's 1,000%.
Florida State.
I think he's 1,000% the starter at Florida State.
And that's why I think that.
Will it stay? We don't. That's the question.
And that's why I think he gets the first look, right? Yeah. Like now,
I said it because I don't know if people understood that you meant by first look like
first look at camp.
Yeah, in camp. Yeah. Like I think he's first look for me. First look is you are starting.
And I'm with you. I don't think that he's gonna get surpassed in camp. Now, if he does, that just tells me, okay, like whoever beat him out was head and shoulders more advanced than anybody else. Like it's just, I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would be the only thing. Okay,
but I think you still the same thing. Like you're saying that, and I think if you were,
I'm with you. I agree with you.
No, I'm just saying like if you put yourself in those shoes, you'd be livid if that happened.
Well,
especially if you worked your butt off and you were doing what you needed to do to not lose the job.
Yeah, there's two schools of thought too, where it's like, tell me now, if you think that like after spring practice, like tell me so I can go somewhere else and try to play. Don't string me along into if you're. I mean, my first thought is Jaden. If you want me to come back and tell me you're the starter.
Think about that, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's even worse message to send. To say they finished this bowl game and to be like, hey, Jaden, we appreciate everything you did.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be a star.
Well, because the only reason I bring it up is because I think they picked Jaden Daniels or got him out the portal and made him the starter because of what he was able to do with his legs and because everything came together so quickly. You couldn't put together, like, you have a new offensive coordinator, obviously new coach, new quarterback. Like, it's easier to do things that are simple, which is trust Jaden Daniels' athleticism in order to win football games. Like, I don't think that's the final.
And his decision making too.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
That's not the final form of the LSU offense, but it's like this is the best choice for right now.
Okay, and
maybe
no,
he makes a big jump.
No, dude, like y'all are not wrong about that at all. But I do think a huge component of the decision is, I mean, just think about it. If you're in the building, say if you're Jaden's roommate and he's roommates with the starting outside linebacker, and then all of a sudden after the Citrus Bowl, Jaden comes to you, and the starting linebacker is going to be here next year. And Jaden comes to you, he's like, hey, man, it was great playing with you, man. I'm a transfer. What you mean you transfer?
You just won 10 wins.
What do you mean you transfer? He's like, yeah, they told me I'm not going to be the starter next year, so I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah,
how do you feel about your job?
Yeah, no.
How do you feel about your work? How do you feel? I want, like, and there's a difference between, like, comfortable and still pushing yourself and comfortable and thinking you got cake and nothing's behind you, right? Like, how do you feel comfortable about being able to look these people in the face and coaches in the face and know that if I do what I need to do, I'm here?
Yep.
You can't.
You can't.
And I think they understand that you can't do that. So I think health willing or something, he's the starter next year.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Now, how long it goes, I don't know.
But I don't want to get into the quarterback, obviously, because we just don't know. There's so many questions to be
it's
answered.
so far away. But I mean, the only reason I'll pose this one as the last one. It feels like after Brian Kelly's comments, did y'all see this where he said he needs to rest? Almost like the medical staff wants him no activity for 10 to 12 days to try to get the ankle closed.
Yeah,
that lines up for Nussmeier to have another audition, and which the last taste he left in your mouth was not the worst. And so I feel like if he's able to put more things,
a little reckless, not the worst.
Yeah, but it was you saw things that excited you, no doubt. So for him to be able, if he goes back and puts together more of a full game plan with whenever he's supposed to be the guy,
and that'll tell you
more than anything like probably a bowl win would get you.
I'm about to say, yeah, it's weird because I think they would actually.
You need the bowl win though.
I think they would. I truly. That's what I was about to say.
Can't lose that.
No. That's what I was about to say because I truly think they're torn in between two ideas, knowing that the first idea is that this is a must-win game for us. Have to win this game. But how great would it be to say, Jaden, you were awesome this year. We appreciate everything you did. Your ankle's hurt. Let's get you healthy. Nuss, here's a full go at it and use it as an audition. I think they would love to be able to do that. I just don't think that they'll have the luxury of being able to do that. Like, I think Jaden's going to push and want to be on the field.
You saw him at the SEC championship game. That man was going to die out there between him and Max Duggan. He earned himself a Heisman invite. You can see people that played wanted to be out there more and play football more than those two guys. And obviously, Doug's is playing for a national or a playoff berth.
Right.
But Jay Daniels is playing because I think a little bit of him is I don't want anybody else to get this job.
Yeah.
I earned it. I want to be out here. If I even let anybody else sniff what I'm doing.
I think he knew what the game was, and I think there's a lot of with that. Yeah. But I think that's I really do think inside the building.
That's the mentality you should always have, though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't want anybody ever take my spot.
I think inside the building they would love for this to be a game where they could just say, hey, bro, we'll give you all the prep you need for a month. Go out there and let's see if you can give us.
Got.
Right.
Yep.
But I don't think they have that luxury because they know they need to win this game.
I agree.
Y'all put that much emphasis on winning the bowl game?
It's not necessarily
the bowl game.
More for optics.
Yeah. It's for optics, for recruiting. It's for
it just looks
for
good.
morale going into next year. Like, hey, we won 10, and we were nowhere near where we could be.
Yeah, it's just a number.
Now you can flip.
10-4 looks a lot.
Yeah, you can flip the conversation.
Man.
You can flip the conversation with 9 too, but it's a lot easier to go over when you've won the next one.
And it's the way that the league the last of the year is played out, right?
Right.
It's the losing. It would be losing 3 in a row whenever
against two teams that you probably should have won.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like if you had beaten A&M, lose to Georgia, and then lose the bowl game, there's not that much emphasis, right? You could probably talk yourself.
Oh, you went to 10. You had a 10-win season. You went 10-2 in the regular season.
Played Purdue in the Citrus. Like we had the Super Bowl all the time. It didn't nobody's really interested, but I feel like it does have more eyeballs because of the way the season could end.
Yeah.
And you just don't want that narrative, I guess, going into the offseason of damn, we lost 3 in a row. Like, vibes aren't as high. But if we win, all right, let's beat somebody we're supposed to.
No doubt.
We saw where we're supposed to be against Georgia.
Like,
we should beat the brakes off Purdue.
You win. This is where it's at. Really, think about this too. You win this game. You keep some of the key pieces you had. The recruiting goes the way you want the recruiting to go. You'll probably go into the start of next year ranked in the top 10, if not very, very borderline top 10. You lose this game, you maybe top 20, maybe sitting between 20 and 25.
Yeah, right.
That's different. It just is. It's a different field.
Oh, no. We talk about the preseason rankings all the time and how much difference it makes for how long you get to kind of linger around. Look at A&M. They were, preseason top 5?
Yeah.
And they did want to move them out of the top 10, out of the top 15 until they were like, this team is trash.
Yeah,
we made a massive mistake.
And look, there's a difference between two, like, oh yeah, we're not ranked the year, let's go prove everyone wrong. Well, you also prove a lot of people wrong when you're ranked 9th to start the year and you got like a realistic shot to be in the conversation, right? That's different because you still want to prove a lot of people wrong, but there is a confidence builder on that side of it too that says we're there.
They know what
we're
they're
close.
looking at.
Yeah.
Speaking of being close, right? We talked about having to fill in some gaps in the portal. We talked about the portal earlier. LSU-wise, like the depth on the team and needs, who are we going after in the portal, like position-wise?
DBs.
A lot of DBs and
defensive
linebackers?
No, not so much as linebacker. We talked with Shay about that today. He said the linebacker is not much of a depth that you think with, obviously, Perk, Greg Penn. They have some other guys on the team.
Tolan?
Mario Tolan. That was the name I was trying to think of. Like, they have guys. I think Mike Jones is gone. I think he's, like, out. Like, I think he has to leave. Or may have left a year early, but obviously that experiment didn't work. Ran down on special teams. But they have bodies at linebacker where they feel confident, but it's more about DBs because if you have a situation in which, I mean, there's a world where Greg Brooks leaves, Joe Fuchsia leaves.
Well, Joe Fuchsia has to leave, right?
Right. He could come back.
Oh,
he has a COVID year.
They both can come back?
Greg Brooks is a junior.
Right. True junior? Or like a
but they came here together, so it feels like if one leaves, maybe the other one might follow because they were kind of like, I think, maybe even been roommates at LSU. So they have a good relationship, obviously. They came out of the portal together to come here. But then when you look down the line of who's actually on LSU that's left, if Mekhi Gardner doesn't come back, you just lost a DB in the portal.
Yeah, Seven Banks, who got hurt this year.
Seven Banks is hurt. He could leave or come back. Like, I would imagine he comes back because he didn't get to put anything on tape. But it gets very thin at DB very quickly, and then you're relying on Laterris Welsh was a freshman this year, and then you try to bring in a Taviano who's not here yet, and you try to bring in a Desmond Ricks who's not here yet. Then you have a sophomore and 2 true freshmen.
Right.
And so they're trying to build through the portal. There's a couple cats. One from North Carolina is a 5-star defensive back that's in the portal. There's a couple of those guys, like names out there that you would want to go get. Obviously, namely the first one being Denver Harris, who has LSU ties. That would be somebody that, when you talk about Brian Kelly...
There's rumor about him going to Colorado, though.
Absolutely. I think Prime hit him up on social.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean
that's the thing you have to absolutely compete with. Like, Colorado changed their grading structure and, like, the ability to get into school after they signed Prime.
Colorado also is saying...
He's like, this is shit too hard. What are y'all doing?
Colorado also...
That's crazy.
I can't get my son in.
They also don't have a set amount of money they're paying him yet. They don't have it yet. They're trying to get the money. They're going to get the money, they said. They're confident they're going to get the money.
Sounds like Jackson
And then
State.
it says, new Colorado Buffaloes head coach expects to earn at least $5 million for multiple seasons that could reach 7 with bonuses.
But we don't have it yet.
That's crazy. Who's doing Deion's deals?
Probably
Not to say that they're bad.
The coaches, I respect Colorado for saying, fuck it. This is what we want. We're going to get it. We're going to make it happen somehow.
What it costs,
we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen somehow. But
you can take some of my money.
Right. But I get the cornerback spot. Are we in contention with that linebacker from Oregon that is in the portal, or is that just
slow?
Yeah, is that just like a?
I think people want him.
That's what I'm asking. Is it just a Twitter, like the fans on Twitter saying that, or is it?
It's the case of the 5-star where he was like the number 1 linebacker in the country.
But he's been hurt 2 years in a row.
Yeah, everybody knows who he is. He looks obviously. Have you seen this guy?
No.
Okay.
They said it was the greatest high school highlight film of all time.
He plays like an asshole.
At linebacker?
Yeah.
He is
Like he was the greatest high school highlight film
They
of all
said like
time.
it was like it was like
At linebacker.
yeah.
he's murdering people.
So you're trying to tell me his high school film is better than Reggie Bush's?
No.
I'm not okay.
No, I'm just trying to say like that's a.
I guess more recently, like now,
Okay.
like yeah,
All right, okay.
in recent memory.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen his huddle tape.
And Noah Devine, was it Noah?
Noel
Noel
Devine,
Devine.
yes. Noel Devine.
Noel Devine. That was
Well, Devine,
unbelievable.
yes.
But yeah, like he's a lot of hype because of the way he looks.
Did he
like,
play this year?
physically? No, he tore his ACL.
Yeah, he's been hurt. That's
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
And so
And he's at Oregon.
Yeah.
he's in the portal.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was at Oregan. We'll see.
What, are you pulling him up right now?
Yeah, I mean, he does look like a Greek god. So I can see, and he plays with a cowboy collar. Feels like he's very
boy.
much about me.
Let me tell you right now, if I saw him with a cowboy collar, I'm cooking him.
Where we have it? Okay.
Oh,
We don't have it.
there he is. Oh, no.
That's
there
him?
he goes.
On the right with the hat?
That's not him. Hold on. I just clicked once too many times. He looked great, didn't he?
Look at that. Looks like a
guy's
number one
an
inside
absolute
linebacker.
animal.
Oh God!
That guy didn't even play high
Listen,
school
that
ball.
can't be a linebacker.
I mean, that guy looks like who's the defensive end from Oakman?
Yeah,
That
Sean
was-
Oakman.
yeah.
He just won a Grey Cup.
I mean, why are we zooming in so much here?
But I'm just saying, this is why people are enamored with him, because they've seen him.
Yeah, but I think they're more enamored with him with the film that he's put on, not just his body.
Oh, maybe I'm just the one with the body. But that's why people like him, because he looks like a freak.
Yeah.
And he plays. I mean, his high school highlight tape is unbelievable. He played in one game.
How many times have you seen it?
A few.
I've never seen it. I've never seen going based off of what I was told.
But he's doing the thing where he's like much bigger than everybody in high school.
Yeah, right.
Or it's just like, of course you're murdering me. Like, bro, you should. This is illegal. But he's had one good game in college. I think 15 tackles in one game where he forced a fumble. He kind of had like that Harold Perkins type game. Where
So
people
he
like,
actually did play this year. He just
yeah,
got hurt.
one game against Fresno State, and then he's been hurt every year. Pretty much, he's been in college, so he hits the portal.
Wait, how old is he? I thought he was still young.
He's a sophomore. He was
This
a
will be.
he was a
He's going
second
into
year.
his
This would have been his junior year. I'm sure he's got red shirt in one
He
of
just
them.
hasn't been healthy.
Right.
But USC is the big push.
Yep. He's from California.
Yep. Yeah, he'll be
He's
there.
to stay on that side of the country.
So
He'll
we
play
were
defense
talking
anyway.
about Prime, talking about Dion. We're talking. Is that stuff that you sent me off air true, or was that you that sent it?
I sent it to the group.
You sent it to the group.
I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems like it's not totally false, right? Like they've already had incidents.
So apparently Jackson State was an absolute shit show for Dion. That was part of the reason why I left. Obviously they weren't treating him the right way. They didn't pay him. Dion came out of pocket to pay for a new weight room. Came out of pocket to pay for
lunch
for his team.
Well, first off, let's just
Allegedly.
the funding's different there, right?
Right.
So I understand that. The kindness of his, I won't even say the kindness. He just knew what the place needed for it to be,
right.
what it needed to be. So he came out of his own pocket to do it. But once you start seeing success and you're making money, that guy's got to start making money.
Well,
right?
the problem was they had a negotiation in his contract on ticket sales. Once they get to a certain threshold of ticket sales, he wasn't going to get anything.
Allegedly, right?
Right.
He wasn't
Allegedly.
getting
It's
anything.
all alleged.
Allegedly, he wasn't getting anything with that. Allegedly, these other teams came in with offers, and then they bumped it up to a number. But then they also said, "Well, if we pay you this, you got to pay your coach." Allegedly, like if all that stuff is true,
no wonder why he left.
why on earth would he stay?
He also has to pay back $300,000 of his.
That's actually true.
No, I know.
Well, he has to pay back $300,000
to the
broke his
contract,
contract.
like buyout. Like he has to
Right.
buy himself out, which
Okay.
Wait,
He's
well,
getting-
because Colorado doesn't have any money.
Yeah,
he
he's
can't
getting-
pay his buyout.
he's getting paid $5 to $7 million. So I'm sure that's fine. He'll be okay.
I think Prime has vested.
And
real well.
you know what's crazy to me too? Like
You
they
want to
just,
put him in a captive?
I guess
Yep.
you can't. Like
You do.
it's all in.
No,
it's
I don't
all
have
in
enough
a,
business entities.
It's all in his contract, but like, wait, so you gonna make me pay this, even though I built you that? How much did that thing cost?
Right.
Okay, no big deal. Here you go, take it, man. You can have what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. It's great. That's a whole.
Well, and
He's gonna thrive so much over there. in
You
Colorado.
saw, yeah, I agree.
He's
Like,
gonna make them relevant again, if not on a national stage, for sure in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
For sure in that conference.
And they needed that. Pac-12 needed something like that. They needed another team to be able to talk about.
Outside of Texas too, realistically, because Kansas State, I guess, but like.
No, it's the Big 12.
Oh, they're in the Pac-12
Pac-12.
now.
Colorado's in the Pac-12, right?
I thought they were in the Big 12.
They were in the Big 12. Maybe I thought
Did they
got
moved
moved
recently?
Maybe not. Maybe
They might have been part of the realignment.
They might.
thought
They're
they
in
were.
the
They might be.
Pac-12.
They're in the Pac-12,
but they
right?
might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how relevant they've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you made me second guess myself.
Well, I didn't even realize they had that be a
but yeah, so they're in the Pac-12. Like the Pac-12 needed someone else to talk about.
Yeah.
Oregon and USC, UCLA, I guess this year, but like Utah, like they haven't really been real yet.
Washington, Penix Jr. baby.
Yeah. I mean, they
He's
put up
coming
some
back.
numbers,
He's
but they
coming back.
need another team, like someone that's polarizing to keep the media looking into the Pac-12. So I'm looking forward to watching him over there. I think I'm a fan of his. He said that
You get to see it on a national stage.
That's what I can't wait to see.
If you think their game isn't going to get national coverage, you're crazy.
That's what I can't wait to see. Damn, we always do this. We always talk, and we had an interview, so it was a little different. But I want to talk a little bit of MLB. We're not gonna have time.
Aaron
It's okay.
Judge.
That's a part of the curtain calls.
Oh, nice. But if you want to talk about what Deion Sanders has already done for Colorado, their engagement on social and their amount of merch that they've already sold since the hire has been like 10x of what they were projected to do.
That's crazy.
Like for the year, and
Right.
it's
Hey, he's
like,
gonna
for
look
next
good.
year-
He's gonna look good in black and gold too. He's gonna make that
he's
shit
gonna
look good.
He might change the unis.
Yeah, we already said that. He said we may be wearing different uniforms in the meeting.
Well, he's signed with Under Armour, so he might try to get him out of their Nike deal in order.
How do you do that? You can't get him out.
That's how you-
Hey, prom, baby.
It don't matter.
Come on,
You probably ain't gonna make the
Yeah,
contract go
probably ain't
away.
doing that.
Probably ain't gonna pay that much of a
And
buyout.
his son's sponsored by Under Armour.
Well, guess what he gonna be wearing?
Nike.
yeah. All right, let's go to the Seggies. Not My Fault, brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. If you haven't been to our friends down at Doe's, please go there. It is a very, very great
Yeah, they did you a little favor, huh, for the birthday?
Doe's.
Yeah. Weren't you able to go into, kind of pull some
Oh,
strings?
not me. That was my father-in-law that did that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was nice.
Didn't know that was possible.
Big old steaks.
Just a...
Bone-in ribeyes.
All right. Not my fault. Do we want to do...
You pick.
Inmate mistakenly released 6 months ago despite Ascension murder conviction, deputies told This Week. This man gets arrested.
Oh, this is from here.
Yeah, this is in Baton Rouge.
All right.
So, local and state officials are blaming one another Tuesday after it emerged a Donaldsonville man who had been convicted of second-degree murder for more than 5 years, but was never sentenced and was able to get out of the conviction. They have no idea who they're blaming, how to figure this thing out, but this man kept his nose down the entire time and just ends up getting to skate out of jail without ever saying anything.
They can't bring him back?
Oh, they're trying to find him for sure, but I mean, my breed said, I don't care who's, it's not, obviously it's the jail or whatever's fault. I don't know who they're bickering about. The article was a paid prescription, so that's all so that's all I could get through. But my whole point of this article is, you know how quiet he had to be whenever he was getting processed and to be able to leave? And he was like, bro, what is going on right now? Like, are they about to let me out of jail?
He probably thought he was about to get whacked.
Yeah, he's like,
Somebody's behind me.
I'm dead.
You know how
But I'm gonna try
excited
it
he was
anyway.
for at least those 10 minutes of like, all right, get your shit. Like, here's your ID. Here's your shoes back. No shoelaces. Like, you get your Ziploc bag. And he was like, good to go.
Wait, he's been in prison before? No, you've just been in jail. You've never been in prison.
Yeah, I've been to prison.
Yeah.
Blue collar.
Oh god,
That's tough, man. That is a bad mistake.
bad.
That's tough on a lot of different people right there.
I just don't.
That sucks.
I'm just proud of my guy. Like, you almost deserve to get out if you let me out.
But he grinded that thing out.
He did.
He talk about a lucky break for him.
Right. So I hope he's able to stay out. I hope that he found a place to lay low. Maybe don't commit any more crime, because that's really what it should be, right? If he keeps his nose clean, you shouldn't arrest him. There should be no warrant for their mistake, and you can't
He
come
killed
back.
somebody.
Well, they let him out.
No, that should not have happened.
But if he keeps his nose clean and doesn't do it again, you can't double jeopardy me.
That's not double jeopardy.
Double jeopardy is being convicted of the same crime twice. Can't do it. It's already happened.
Yeah, I don't think they would try him. I think it was a mistake. They would just bring him back to jail.
I gotta go find this man.
Yeah,
He's in Canada.
He's going. He's in Mexico. Current call is brought to you by Assured Partners.
Assured Partners. My curtain call is something that actually, not a bad gig.
Okay.
the Major League Baseball, if you're wondering where the money's going, this is it. MLB is willing to pay you $35 an hour to be an official scorekeeper. I don't know why they had to throw this last piece in. Even if you drop out of high school, like, who cares? But they needed official scores in a bunch of markets. Like, in my time, it was just a bunch of moms that went to the game that would keep the books. And so they're barking up the wrong tree. They need to go find some, like, moms that already go to the games. Like, Austin Nola's mom would probably keep the book.
How much are they paying?
$35 an hour for a baseball game. So how long is a baseball game in Major Leagues?
Say 3 hours minimum.
And you play
Minimum.
how many days a week in a row?
7.
So if you play is it 163?
62.
162 times 3 times 35. I'm just saying, you're making a pretty penny over here. So curtain call to MLB for trying to be able to
So
something that is so
times
easy.
2 is 364.
Well, you're not gonna do that because you're only gonna work probably the home games.
Okay, yes.
So we'll just go 81 times 3
times 3 times 35,
35.
making almost 10 grand.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
What if you drop out?
Unless you live in that home city and you're like
a season ticket holder and you're going to be there anyway?
Yeah, or you're like a walk away from there. It's not worth it.
You know what you should do is my guy from the Not My Fault.
Which one?
The convicted criminal that's out.
Oh, I'm sure they'd give him the job.
Yeah, he said he dropped out of high school. I mean, where are we drawing the line? But I feel like that's the perfect thing for him if you got to travel with the team. Just keep your, stay out of sight, out of mind.
No. I don't think that's happening.
But,
you got one?
Yeah, my curtain call, and this is going to be a very rare occurrence.
Huh?
Matter of fact, I think this is the first time it's ever happened.
Matter of fact.
Probably won't happen again. I'm taking my shit back, man. Whatever my curtain call was on Monday, I'm just going to go ahead and snatch it back. We found out that the Steph Curry video was doctored and it's not real. So my curtain call, if anything, is to whoever doctored that video and made it real, because I saw multiple angles of the ball never leaving the screen, and they got me. Now, I did say on the show like 5 times while I was giving the curtain call that I was like, man, this is hard to believe it's real.
It should be fake.
But if it is, shit's fake, so I'm taking it back. Good job.
Okay, curtain call for taking it back. Curtain call for the guy
whoever doctored it did it.
Yeah.
Good
But
job.
dude,
that's scary that you could do that today.
That's what I was
Yes.
gonna
That's
say.
scary.
Yes.
That ball, it wasn't like the old ones that we talked about with like the LeBron, where it's like clearly coming from the rafters and it's like, all right, the ball left the screen. This man was the only evidence that I thought it might have been fake was the way he was slinging that bitch.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be that?
And no
accurate?
reaction.
He wasn't even trying to
reaction.
like line it up or anything. He was just taking off the rag and
Just
just
let it go.
go.
Do you give him any credit for saying he did make 2?
Yeah. I mean, that's hard. Those are hard shots.
Yeah. Now we don't know how many he actually
Yeah, how many
tried.
did he shoot?
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say.
So I mean, I'm sure he probably got 2 in less than a lot of people would get 2. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But it is funny though. There is merit to it though that video came out, and even if you had a little bit of like that can't be real, you're like,
Well, that's why you could. That's why there's
but
so
you're
much
like-
stir.
but
That's
you're
why he
like-
had to come out and say it.
yeah,
because
but
of
you're
that.
like, but it is Steph Curry. It might be real.
And then they did the next one. Did you see the one where he shoot it over his head from Sports
Yeah,
Illustrated?
I did.
Also fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steph Curry
It's all about
in the
fake
CGI game.
Those are gonna live a long time.
stuff. Yeah, they are.
Oh, in 40 years, people will be like, "This is what Steph Curry was doing in practice,"
Gonna
and
live a
nobody's
long-
gonna know.
with
Yep.
with the hoodie tied around his waist.
They're like, "This was the best shooter of all time."
My curtain call. It's kind of a twofold curtain. My curtain call is to Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge signed a 9-year, $360 million deal to go back to the Yankees. Now, the reason why is my curtain call is because he said they offered him a $210 million deal. 213 million deal before the year started.
7 year.
7 years, so shorter. So still the
For about 2 years,
AAV
about
or whatever. Yeah.
$150 million.
Yeah. So he says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go through the year. We're not going to negotiate through the year. I'm going to go through the year. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to figure out, and we'll reevaluate. I'm going to take a chance of not having a good year and coming back and seeing what happens. Well, instead of not having a good year, he had his best year of his career, breaks the American League home run record, hits 63, and signs the 9-year, $360 million. So that's $250 million. I mean, $150 million more plus 2 years.
He got himself.
that he got.
What? More security and about.
He getting paid $40 million.
About $75 million more over the next 2.
Getting paid for. Now, the other part of this curtain call is to all of the writers out there that really try to be the first ones to do things. John Hyman is getting hammered on Twitter.
Ooh, what did he do? What did he do?
Somebody
He came
finally
out.
popped the Hyman?
First of all, he came out and said arson judge. He misspelled Aaron and went to arson judge.
He tried to write that so quick.
Yeah, but here's where it could have been great for him. He goes, arson judge looks like he's going to be going to the Giants. Looks like he's about to have a deal done with the Giants. Arson judge. He could have kept it at that and said, no, I said arson judge, not Aaron Judge, and kind of like made it funny on it, right?
Yeah.
Instead, he goes and deletes the tweet, puts it back on there. Aaron Judge looks like he's about to looks like he's close to a deal with the Giants. Then he has to come back out and renege on it and come back and say, hey, no, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun there. That's not the case. And then he goes ahead and signs with the Yankees. My question is, do you think he fucked that deal up for the Giants? Do you think that...
Oh, like a Tom Brady scenario?
It's possible.
Like, came out and said, like, maybe he
Giants,
was leaning towards the Giants, but then the Yankees saw that or something and said, fuck it, we're going to just do it.
Did the Giants offer more?
Not more than 360, I don't think.
Okay, because I think there was two teams or a couple teams.
So the Padres came in at the last minute, too.
And they offered a lot more, right? I think something tells me that the Giants, that Aaron Judge and his team gave the Yankees good faith to match whatever someone else gave. And so it's very possible that guy fucked it up by putting it out there and they got this conversation and he says, well, this is what it was. All right, here it is.
Tough.
Because I do think Cashman and the rest of that front office knew, listen, we're going to have to watch the games in New York from the crib.
Yeah.
If Aaron ain't back here next year.
Yeah.
We ain't going to the stadium because we will get booed at, tomatoes thrown. We might not walk out of there alive.
Yeah.
I think they knew they had to give everything to get him back.
Right. And so why did they... I guess Aaron Judge said, well, I'm not negotiating during
there's
the
no
season.
reason. So if you're negotiating against yourself, there's no reason to get your top offer without negotiating against any other team, right? So they're negotiating before the season, still under contract. They're negotiating with themselves.
Yeah.
So they're saying, okay, this is going to be our offer. This is what we're going to give you. Take it or leave it before the season. We'll talk about this again in the offseason if this is not what you want. He says no. They go in the offseason, and now they're negotiating against other teams.
Not only that, too, like, what's the point of no-go? If you're really going to be – if you know you're that guy that's in the top echelon of this thing, like the top 1% of this thing, why negotiate during the season and sell yourself short? Like,
Right.
say you're good at the halfway point. Even though he was, like, killing at the halfway point, leading the league in homers and all this, blah, 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 blah. We still didn't know that he was going to break the record. All that stuff ends up mattering when you go to the table. So, like, say if he signs a deal or if he makes it done then you probably left a couple dollars on the table by not waiting until the offseason.
And you don't really – the market's never really set until the market's set, right? You don't know what the market's going to be until other teams are bidding for you. So, like
I would imagine they went in there and said, so he's number 3 now in AAV. I think it's just Scherzer. And no, not Scherzer.
Scherzer's got 40 plus.
Scherzer
and
Verlander. Scherzer and Verlander now because I think your boy.
Shorter deals.
Yeah, your boy didn't sign along that big like a average AAV very good deal too, or say very good. You know what I'm talking about. They just left the Mets. DeGrom.
Oh, DeGrom. Yeah,
it's not as high. So those two are number 1 and 2. He's number 3, but he's also number 1 top position player. I think by having the year that he had last year and breaking the records and doing that, was able to say, I got to be the highest paid position player. We're not starting at we're not going anywhere under
in
that.
AAVs, not
in
total
yeah, that's what I'm saying. In AAV. So I think he's like, we're not going anywhere under that. If I'm not the highest paid AAV position player, then we're wasting our time.
And it's perfect storm for him, right? Like the Yankees probably have the most to offer if it's how I remember.
Well, here's
baseball.
the deal.
Oh, they all got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They all have it. But the Yankees obviously have the Yes Network, and they have now he had the best negotiation because he could either I'm going to stay at my home right now, which is New York, where everybody loves me, and I'm in the best market I could possibly be in, or I go home to Northern California and play in San Francisco where I grew up because he went to Fresno State. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was kind of it, and that's obviously also a bigger market, but you know, I'm good. I'm happy for him. So that's my current call. Great show today, boys.
Good stuff.
Great show. We had some football talk. We had some baseball talk.
Well.
We did good. We had a good meeting before.
Turning nice long day today.
Yeah, nice day. We will be back live on Friday.
Where are we gonna be?
From Uncle Earl's.
Okay.
from 4:30 to 6.
Maybe to 5:30.
And then we're gonna send y'all off on the weekend.
Might be on the stage.
We're gonna have
Get rained on.
yeah, maybe, who knows.
Might be outside. You just never know.
But we'll see you on Friday. Come out and enjoy some drinks with us. Come hang out with us. Come have a good time. We're Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We're on all podcast networks, Spotify and Apple. Please go and if you can't watch it and you're not gonna be able to watch it, go ahead and put this thing on your car. Spotify and Apple have it.
Yeah.
Come hang out with us.
Use the CarPlay.
Listen to us.
There you go.
All right. Have a good night. Peace. See you.